Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today, somebody's taking over the studio, and we're not leaving until we play this demo. Let's go! Funny, that's how we started this podcast. I broke into the offices at Spotify, and I held them all at, well, not real gunpoint, but fake gunpoint.
Who
and I
doesn't
said,
do that?
I'm not leaving until you hear my terrible opinions about Street Fighter. And you literally could just start your own show like it costs nothing to do.
I mean, and who doesn't do that to get a job, right? I mean, that job you really want, bust in there and hold them hostage till you get it.
It's a lot harder to pull off the super soakers as real guns, though, now. Because they really don't look like real guns anymore.
Well, James went in with a Nerf, like the gas.
Oh, yeah.
Nerf.
Oh, okay.
I thought Spotify was in charge of who got to have a podcast.
Yeah.
And then I found out that literally anybody
could do it.
Yeah.
So
Who gave these idiots a podcast?
This is embarrassing, guys. I'm sorry.
I was just kidding. This is our first episode. We've been recording the whole time.
I'm going to go. Yeah.
Can you sign this waiver?
Thanks.
So it's cool if I have... Okay, I'll just go.
Cool. All right, great. Thank you all for being here. We got the mayor, Ryan Mueller, in the house.
I'm here.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's, it's sometimes how you got to do things in politics, too. You just go in, take over, get your voice heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
that's topical.
Right.
Were you ever in a band?
Was I ever in a band? No.
No. Okay.
No, I stopped playing in orchestral music in 6th grade.
All right, got it, Chester.
Yep,
And
pretty much.
also, we got Clint Busch, the dirt farmer, over
True
here.
story.
Not that I know if you were ever in a band.
Several, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What were they called?
Rubber band.
Antioch upper grade concert band.
Oh, another concert band guy.
Symphonic band in high school.
I'm trying to fight against the stereotype that we're a bunch of nerds at this table.
No, definite nerd.
0 for 2 so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. All right, cool.
I blew the horn hard.
Okay.
David's here, and now it's up to you to save us, man. Did you do anything cool in high school?
Well, yes.
Okay.
But music wasn't one of them. I was in the band as well until about my junior year. And I think that my dad and the band director had a meeting, and he was like, so you guys don't want him in the band anymore, do you? And she was like, if he doesn't want to be here. And I was like, I hate this. And then, pardon my French. And then I was out of there. So I played baritone, I think, in trombone. And
Look at that.
Whoa.
We got baritone buddies over here?
Yeah. Were you a baritoner too?
I started on a trumpet, and I went to baritone.
Oh, okay. I started on the trombone.
Because I was a nerd with braces.
All right. Literally stop nerding out about this.
It's less cool when you say it out loud.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm the only one that was never in band when I was a kid. Today, we've got, like I said, Airheads. We're going to go through the movie scene by scene, just like we always do. But before that, we've got some vitals that we have to get to. And so we are talking, like I said, about Airheads from 1994. Movie directed by Michael Lehman. Last time we had Michael Lehman directing a movie on this podcast was about 199 episodes ago. So on the second episode ever, he directed Hudson Hawk was the last time we covered one of his movies. But we don't have Stephen E. D'Souza this time. This movie was written by Rich Wilkes. And I don't think I've ever heard of that guy before, so we're just going to keep going.
Yep. Good plan.
Movie starred Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, Judd Nelson, Michael McKean, Ernie Hudson, and the list goes on. I mean, a very, very young, almost a baby David Arquette is also in this, and a bunch of other people. So, yeah, the cast is absolutely stacked. And let me just say this before we get any further into how it qualifies. What a pain in the ass this movie was to find and watch.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how it's not streaming anywhere. Why isn't this streaming anywhere?
And not even for rent. Like I get like there are movies that aren't available for free, like or if you have a Netflix subscription or whatever, but you can't even pay Amazon or anybody $4.
Nothing came up on the search when I did it on my Roku.
Yeah,
nothing. Like not even like MGM Plus or
nothing.
Whatever. Yeah.
And so beyond that, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you're playing the home game with BMR, good luck for this one, because it is a tough one to watch. I went on
Planet Hollywood,
There's been a couple.
I went there. I did that. I hunted for it at DVD stores. I
Seriously?
went on Amazon and
Is that what you were doing?
I told you that I was hunting for it and nothing. And then I looked it up on Amazon. The Blu-ray is $275.
Yeah.
So if anyone buys that, please send it to our P.O. box when you're done.
Right.
Yeah, it was like I think Break-In and PCU were the other two that we had a hard time finding.
And
Not like this.
Found Airheads on a site called bflix.org.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it ran pretty decently because the original link that they put in a Discord was the archive one that we've used before. It just buffered and buffered and buffered. I literally got a minute into the movie. It took 5 minutes. I'm like, forget this.
Yeah, no, so that was the original one that they sent us didn't work. Then you sent the Bflix link, but that link didn't work.
It didn't work for you? Okay.
Like I went in there and it's just not in there. And then then I screen recorded because I do have the DVD.
Yeah.
Although I found out I have no more things in my house that play DVDs. But I was able to get that on screen recorded, which has worked in the past. And this time, for whatever reason, none of the audio is in that copy.
It was weird because it was all like the background audio was there.
Right.
The guy dropped a pile of papers on the floor and you heard that dead clear.
Yep.
No speaking.
Yeah, no talking.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know what happened.
I started watching. I was like, am I having a stroke? I had my wife come over. He's not talking,
How's
right?
the side of my face look? Is it
Right.
drooping?
I watched it for 5 minutes thinking, look, maybe they didn't have him actually talking there.
Yeah.
I thought so too, but I'm like, wait, I just watched this on the website the other night. I'm like,
So
and he was talking.
We had to play past the DVD around.
It
basically.
belongs in a museum.
So
Apparently.
physical media for the win. Like they can't call you and say there's a rights issue with this music. You have to turn in your DVD of Airheads, and like, no, that's not happening, dude. Sorry. All right, movie currently sits at a 6.2 on IMDb, which would be too high to qualify on its own. But then you head over here to Rotten Tomatoes, and it's got a 29% critic score and a dead center 50% audience score. So people are split on whether or not this is a good movie. And we'll parse that out. We got 4 people here plus patrons playing along at home, and we'll see if it ends up as a dead split,
See what happens.
when we end up doing it here. So I'm excited to go through this with you guys. If you guys want to be one of these patrons that participate and say, hey, I hear these guys giving their awards out every single week, you can do that. You can sign up on patreon.com/badmoviesrule. I think it's our 3rd tier. You can submit awards, sign up every single month, and become part of the show. Again, it's patreon.com/badmoviesrule. Besides that, I just want to ask you guys one other favor. I know that there's a lot of people that listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but if you've been listening to us for a long time, but you, for whatever reason, never clicked follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, would you do that today? Help us grow the show. Help us grow that follower base. If you could do that while you're listening, we would greatly appreciate it. And drop a rating if you haven't done that on there yet as well. All right. You guys ready to dive in?
Ready?
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's pay some bills first. All right, guys. Airheads.
I love that candy.
Yeah, it's good stuff. one of my favorites.
Yeah.
To this day.
Which is your color?
Ooh.
White?
I do like the mystery ones, but I
mystery
think
one
like
is good.
blue.
Blue for sure.
Yeah.
Why is this movie called Airheads? Like I couldn't think of.
I have a couple.
They are ditzy as F.
Well, yeah, they are, but
There's a couple theories. That was one of them. They're just dumbasses.
yeah.
The other is like, okay, they're on air, trying to get on air, right? Trying to get over the air.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's what
Maybe.
I thought is like
Maybe.
they're trying to get on the air.
Right.
Wouldn't it make more sense to be like the Lone Rangers be the name of the movie or
Yeah.
something?
Anything else?
Anything
Right.
other than Airheads didn't
Yeah.
really seem like it was.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't like super stupid though either. I mean, not compared to some of the other movies that you've seen where they're just like
For guys that take a
Complete
bunch
morons.
of people hostage for
On accident.
on accident.
On accident.
They're pretty smart
yeah,
for those
For that.
types of people.
Yeah. For square guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
filled with hot sauce.
Right.
Yeah.
Just wondering. All right, well, let's get into this movie. Movie opens up at KPPX with Ian the Shark and Rebel Radio. And it's Joe Montana playing the, again, deep roster of really good actors here in this movie. And this is your local, like the equivalent for us here would be 95 Wheel Rock in Kenosha, as I think, right? Where the type of radio station that we're dealing with here.
Laser.
Well, probably more like, the Hog now, but it's more of the hard rock.
Gotcha.
Radio
What's the Hog?
station.
I don't think I ever listened to that.
It was the old Laser.
Yeah,
1029.
Laser turned into
Or 103.5, The Blaze
There
from
you go.
Chicago back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, dude, that's a...
Coming to you live from the top of the cock on the rock, 103.5, The Blaze.
That is such a deep cut. I love that you knew that off just cold, brother.
We never got that this far north.
No.
The cock.
We'd get some Chicago stations, not the cock.
That was
on
a
the
chicken,
rock.
right? You're
Not
talking
that
about a rooster?
Yeah.
No, it was
so.
the John Hancock building.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
All right. So we see Brendan Fraser pull up on a bike outside of Palatine. Sorry, all these Chicago
Palatine, yeah.
Palatine Records.
Palatine,
Yeah.
John Hancock building. Chris Farley's in this movie.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, weird stuff. All right. Anyway,
Not a wig. It's definitely not a wig.
Not a wig. Not at all.
pulls up and he's trying to look, I don't know, presentable. The ball cap helps.
Yes.
Inconspicuous.
It always does.
Nothing to see here, folks.
You don't want people to recognize you in a building you've probably gone into 50 times.
Yeah, they knew.
Keep
who
going
it
in with
was.
the same
Yeah.
costume and
Right.
throwing a ball cap on.
Right.
Dude.
It's the Marvel Universe costume of sunglasses and hat.
Yes.
And nobody knows who you are.
Who's that guy now?
That's
Yeah.
Captain America in the mall.
No, it can't be. He's wearing a hat and glasses. There's no way that's
In the
him.
Apple store. And was it Iron Man just wore a hoodie one time?
Yeah, he would just walk around in a hoodie that turned into an Iron Man suit. But no,
Big stupid red suit with a hoodie on.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Was that Tony Stark?
Flying.
yeah.
No. He's got a hoodie on. That's fine.
Is that the Hulk
That's
over
every
there?
guy with repulsor technology.
Oh, what's this other band? So he gets in the elevator, he skirts the first security guard, gets up, and he's kind of trapped in the hallway behind a Dr. Seuss band.
I guess so.
I was trying to think of who are these guys? They're like the Cats in the Hats. With
If
the
that's not their band
with the
name, it
aces
better
on their
change.
jean jackets.
Dude, if that's the whole thing of their band where they just played Doctors, red fish, blue fish, one fish, two fish. I mean, oh man.
That's
Green eggs and ham. That'd be incredible.
the places you'll go. The places you'll go.
Do-do-do. Fox and socks.
Horton Heard, what? Oh, who?
That could see you get Little John to do that.
What? Horton
Yeah.
heard what? I got a walk-in in my pocket. Oh my gosh.
But it was awesome that when this guy's trying to hype up the Cats in the Hat, and he's like, "Do you know how much money I spent on these hats?" And
Like
I said, to
$17
James,
bucks a piece.
$8.
$8 at Spirit at the end of the
Yeah,
season.
exactly. You got him out of a bin.
I do like how, we won't keep calling him Brendan Fraser, but Chaz is basically playing Metal Gear Solid through the hallways here at Palatine Records.
Full stealth mode.
Right, trying to find one of the record executives.
Right.
He's got a demo in his hand that he wants to, obviously, for him to listen to.
Tallest guy in the building.
Right.
But just
Same
stealthy
hat
as
as
a
the last
puma.
45 times he came in, but
He comes across Judd Nelson, who literally was 2 episodes ago just on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back as the police officer. And now he's a sleazeball Jimmy Weeks. Is it Wings?
Jimmy Wing.
Jimmy Wing.
Yeah.
True story sleazeball.
Yes.
Perfect.
He had the soul patch and everything.
Right.
Like, that is the mark of the turd.
And he's like, hey, man, I just want to give you this demo to listen to it. And he's like, I can't take that from you. It's unsolicited material. The lawyers will go crazy. What's funny is that's actually true. Okay. Same thing in screenwriting. I, knew a lot of people that were trying to break into the movie business. I've written some scripts myself and did a lot of reading about screenwriting back when I was pursuing that. Right. People think, well, they just walk into studios and get them into hands of agents and get them to rouse. Like, they will not take it from you because they can get accused later down the road of copyright infringement if anything that even resembles something in the script that you gave them. So it's got to be checked through by the lawyers and everything. You can't. It sounds like they don't want to. They're just trying to be dicks and be like, I don't want to read the script.
I mean, there's some of that.
99% of it's trash that they get handed anyway. So there is some of that.
Yeah.
But they legally can't do it.
Right.
Right. So even if
So does that cost money? to get it solicited?
Well, you've got to get a writing agent, and then through the agents they'll solicit material,
Right.
and things like that, and it's got to be vetted and go through this whole process. You can't just walk in and put a script in somebody's hand. Same way, I'm guessing that you can't just put a song. In
I'm
somebody's
sure.
hand, right?
So you got to be discovered because they talked about being in the clubs and everything else, and
Right. So he goes back to doing his day job, which is sitting on his ass playing the remote control like a guitar. In
He was
living room.
watching a
was he
video and with no shirt on. It was kind of weird. Like,
bit.
what are you doing in there, man? If she didn't walk in when she did, what would she have seen you doing? Because you looked a little too comfortable and you weren't wearing a shirt.
He was working his way up to it.
Yeah. This music video is so hot.
what it was.
I love rock and roll this much.
Kayla comes home, and that's his girlfriend, and he's just bitching about her office job and how she's got to stack invoices alphabetically, and right.
Yeah, and she gets comfy by just taking her skirt off.
Right.
And there's
she's got like a
Wearing her
leotard
bodysuit
on.
yeah, she's got a body. I can't imagine it's much more comfortable.
Right. Oh
without-
gosh, let me get this skirt off, and
Yeah,
now I feel a whole lot
let me
better.
get this small belt off of my waist. Then I'll be finally comfortable coming home from work.
And she wants him to get a job, and he's like, "I'm doing the work, man. I'm out here. I'm hitting the street. I'm trying to get with these record executives, and I had a meeting with. I was at Palatine Records today.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
We talked about solicitation and
Like, I did that today at work, too.
Yeah, not that kind.
and then ultimately, he lets it out that they said they'd sign me if the lawyers were, and then security threw me out or whatever, and she goes back to being pissed.
I was
Yeah.
like, why did you say that? You had her eating out of the palm of your hand.
Yes.
Right.
She was like ready to get the rest of your clothes off because you had a meeting there, and then you had to go and ruin it by saying, "Yeah, I got thrown out."
Yeah.
Come on, you just said he's thinking it over. He's going to get back to me. That's all he had to say.
And he says like, "Oh, I'm sorry you get to stack invoices, but at least you get a nice office with coffee and whatever." And she friggin' headbutts him in the nose.
I know. She's
Smokes
like,
him in the face.
Bang.
Whap.
Like Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah. Their relationship is very weird in this movie.
was weird.
It's like, are we supposed to want them together or not? Or are they
I say
toxic
we're
or what's
not
going on?
supposed to.
I
I say we want better for him.
I think we
I think
do.
so, 'cause
Sure.
she seemed very gold diggerish.
I care about
Yeah.
him.
Okay.
Her less so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing was kind of, it was just forced. And then it was like, okay, now you're arguing, now you're not. Now you're together, now you're not. It just seemed too much.
Yeah. She's rough. And she chucks all of his CDs, and there's a ton of albums and CDs off the balcony as he takes off on his bike. And I remember just going like, all that would be on an iPod right now, right?
Right.
Like there would,
That would go down to, disco round or something
literally.
like that. I was like, hey, that's literally $6 a piece probably coming
Yeah.
back to you.
It's a much shorter scene if this happens in 2025. It's
all
like,
his music's on his phone, and she's like, "There's nothing for me to throw out."
Yeah.
because he said all he has is his wife or his girl and his bike
and his music.
and his music, and
Yeah.
that's it. Now he doesn't even have that anymore.
Nope. She threw it out.
That's it.
His stupid demo.
Jeez. All right.
Not even clothes. He didn't even have clothes there. He just kept all his music at her house.
I think he had,
and that's
he had
it.
the delivery man suit and whatever else he was wearing the rest of the movie, and that was it.
Yeah, all my costumes to get into the record building.
So he's got to go. All his costumes. He had the Groucho Marx thing in there. That was going to be his next one. He was going to try.
Goes in as an Indian and a pirate and a construction worker.
Right. One of these is going to work.
One of these village people get me a record deal.
He decides he's going to move in with Pip and Rex. Pip and Rex are his bandmates in their band, and one is played by Rex is Steve Buscemi, and Pip is a very young-looking Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Shockingly young-looking Adam Sandler. Steve Buscemi works at the toy store for about 4 seconds. I mean, I think he quits at the end of that scene.
He's like, I'm done.
I'm done.
When his manager comes up and says, "Hey guys,
Old man, whoever said it's time to sweep the floor.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm out.
I'm out." Yep.
And so they meet up with Pip, who's got his van out there for his pool cleaning thing, and they start giving Pip a hard time, like about he doesn't care enough about the band, and we got to start hustling, man. Like nobody's gonna give us anything. We got to get out here. Like how many practices have you missed because you've been cleaning some idiot's pool? Right?
I mean, he is the water boy.
That's true, but the way I looked at it, I was like, he's the only one that's got. He started a small business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gainful employment.
And you work at the toy store, and you work nowhere.
It's his business.
It is. It's
Yeah.
Pip's pool
Yeah,
painting.
right.
Because at first I saw it on the van. I'm like, oh, he works for somebody. Then it's on his hat too.
Yeah.
And I find his name is Pip.
Right.
Leave Pip the frick alone.
Right. Even if he is
He's
Bobby
paying
Boucher.
the rent. Yeah.
Without the stutter.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
In the smallest apartment I've ever seen in a movie, maybe. And they had
Oh, yeah.
3 people living in there?
Yeah.
No.
Golly.
I don't want to say what it said, but everybody, when next time you go watch Airheads, watch what the fender of Chaz's bike says on it when he pulls up.
Yes,
does.
very weird.
That was super weird. I'll leave that as a little nugget of surprise for you
Okay.
guys.
I'm going to have to go back. I don't think I
Good luck
noticed
getting to watch this movie, but if you do,
Maybe that's why it's not anywhere.
it could be too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's that good of a word.
Steve Buscemi, well, Rex is pumping up Pip. He's like, come on, man. If you hustle, we're going to make it. You know, once you make it, man, they have chicks with breast implants that pick out your stage clothes for you, right? I'm like,
That's how you made it.
that's how you know.
Accurate.
What's
yeah.
that interview like?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Probably takes place on a couch, I'm sure.
Okay. So you're going to be one of the wardrobe pickers. Are those knockers real or
Yeah, they're fake.
perfect? You're hired?
They're real to you.
They exist.
Yeah. They're not make believe.
It's written in the contract. Okay. All right. Next thing we see them over at the Sons of Thunder, not some band. The Sons of Thunder specifically are playing a show in town, and they're sponsored by KPPX. And you get Ian's on stage hyping up the crowd. And they basically, the whole point of the scene is for the lead singer, who looks like a moron himself, to deliver this one piece of expo, which is, we just want to say thanks to KPPX for playing our song on the radio, basically getting us signed. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Milo.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they start playing their dumb, terrible song.
Thanks for this tribal mask I get to wear as a necklace.
This
Thank
washboard,
you. Yeah.
That's right.
something.
The pantaloons.
Yeah.
The rock and roll, I guess.
Hawaiian Tropic girls are there.
Yeah.
Right?
A
They're
lot
just
of
like,
them.
You see?
Yeah.
Manning the Pepto-Bismol
Everything.
station and the hairspray rack. Oh, is that swag? Is that what they're
Yeah,
doing
I
over
think
there?
that was swag.
But ultimately, he's just like, that's what we got to do, man. He's like, wear pantaloons? He's like, no, we got to get the radio to play our song, and then we'll get a deal, right?
Right.
This sets up the whole purpose of the movie. And the next day, the band pulls up to the radio station in Pip's pool service.
Yep.
And I just want to say, because this is a movie about hostages in a building, and if you didn't notice, go back and look. When they pull into the radio station, they pull in a roundabout, and there's another skyscraper right next to the radio station, and it is Nakatomi Plaza from Die Hard. The building that Hans fell out of is right next door to the radio station.
Nice.
It's in the same parking lot.
There's Hans Blood still on the street.
It's still
Yeah,
on the street.
yeah.
You could see it when Brendan Fraser pulls or whoever's driving the van,
Yep.
pulls the thing into the roundabout. I was like, holy crap, dude.
That's awesome.
So now both of those buildings in that little roundabout have had a hostage situation.
Yeah.
This is a bad neighborhood to hang out.
They should just
real.
blow that whole thing up and start over.
Yeah.
'cause-
Wow, they tried to blow the roof. They did blow the roof
Yeah,
on the
they
last
did.
place.
Yeah, it's true.
The roof, go! All right, sorry. They go. Oh no, they don't get in first. They go around the back, and there's a keypad.
The keypad, yeah.
All right, maybe Airheads is an app title.
Yes.
Because their first plan is to put Pip's debit. He's the only one with a debit card. This
Right.
guy,
I mean, Pip is dopey, but I mean, he's got stuff going for him.
obviously,
He's got a bank account. He's got a
Dude,
business, small business.
right. And so
Man.
he put his debit card in the key card because in their brains, or at least in Rex's brain,
Card's a card.
a card's a card, and if you know the secret code, it'll open the door.
Right.
Okay.
I can't tell you my code.
And he types in like a 6 or 7 digit
Yeah.
code. So like he had really high security on
Yeah.
that bank
Yeah.
card.
I mean, for 1994. I mean,
Like literally 2 years earlier, John Connor needed a whole thing to get into an ATM, right? Like
Yeah.
the card and the whole kiosk and everything. And this guy's just, all you had to do was put your debit card number and you can unlock any door with a keypad.
All right.
Genius. Okay, obviously that
Then
doesn't
they
work.
MacGyver it by spitting soda.
He's spitting soda in there to short it out.
Short
No,
circuit
right.
it. Just pull on the door.
Card confiscated. Where's my card, man?
sounded like it got shredded in there too. Just
Yeah, there's definitely a shredder inside of that machine.
like I don't recognize this card.
Eat it.
So Rex and Chaz climb to the roof. They're going to crawl through a skylight or something. I don't know what they're planning on doing on the roof. But as Pip is still there, probably trying to figure out if he can get his card out of there, the door flies open and nails him in the face because one of the gals that works there was just coming out for a cigarette break and hits Adam Sandler in the face with the door. And he's like, oh, well, no, but before that, I don't want to forget about this. Adam Sandler was like, oh, guess it didn't open. Sorry, we got to go. He's like trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is Buscemi again is like, you don't even care about this band, man. All you do is sit around home in your underwear. That's not true. I got to be the one to tell you to put friggin' pit. Oh, he's making it up.
That's like what Adam Sandler does right
Yeah.
there. Like this is the first cues into what makes this guy.
But the only person around is Chaz, so he just doesn't want Chaz to know.
Yeah.
Right.
That
He sits around without pants. Like I sit around without shirts, watching music videos.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll be fine.
No big
Right.
deal.
It's not like the girl from the cigarette break was out there or something, but he was just so self-conscious about it. All right, sorry. Don't want to miss that. Girl comes out, nails him in the face, has to run back in, and they expertly drop a backpack right under the door to stop it from closing, and they're able to gain access to the
Right before I see them do that, I was like, "Put your foot out, stupid!"
Yeah,
because
right.
he's laying on the ground
Adam
right at the door.
Sandler's just sitting right there.
She probably would have let him in anyway because she
Probably.
instantly wanted his nuts as soon as she saw his face,
Yeah.
apparently.
Oh, 100%. We have another person, well, we mentioned this in this movie. Michael Richards is in this film. Kramer himself is sitting at Michael McKean's desk.
Yep.
And this is where we find a little bit of backstory here that McKean's actually planning on firing Milo. He's going to fire everybody at the station. And so he needs Michael Richards to come in on the week, and he Lumbergs him.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Hard.
getting the fact that this guy probably had a favorite mop. You know, at this station he worked at.
Michael Richards had to go see the ass man. He said, "Hi, all right, I'll come in over the weekend." And
I got an
The
itch.
hemorrhoids, man.
I don't know.
got the hemorrhoids bad.
He delivered that so well. Then McKean's like, I don't want to know that.
I got an itch.
I want you to tell me.
Ass been itchy for weeks.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's fine.
burn.
I'll come in,
Right.
the next couple days. All right, the guys make it into the booth where Ian is on the freaking air.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, hey, we're a band. He's like, no shit.
Partridge Family.
Right.
And he ends up taking the microphone and flipping it around and turns it into an interview. He's like, let me get this right. You guys broke in here in order to get your demo played on the air. And Milo hears this going on and comes out there and tries to squash the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we get the first sense that there's tension between Milo and Ian. He's like, I get, 6 minutes an hour of talk time. What do you care how I use it?
Right.
You got no ratings without me. And they're like going back and forth a little bit. Ultimately, Milo is the one that screws up this whole situation because I have a feeling Ian's going to play the music for them.
Yeah, absolutely. This is I got spare time. Why
Right?
not?
Yep.
He's like, how could you say no to that? Listen, he gives him a chance to make the plea to Milo. And Milo is basically says, I don't care, and tries to chuck them out. And this is when Rex pulls his Uzi, which they had at the apartment established was a toy.
Right.
That he
And
filled with hot
right.
sauce.
Yeah.
Filled with hot sauce.
Why'd he bring it? Why?
Specifically here.
Yeah, and it's okay. Let's just go back and
Two
like
of them.
Please.
if one, it's a bit of an overreaction just to the dude trying to get you out of the booth because you shouldn't be there and you know that.
Right.
And then you get so pissed that you pull a gun, a fake gun that you know is fake. How
Right.
did you think that was gonna go?
Dude,
You just want to scare him, man.
But it was a squirt gun.
right.
You're still gonna scare
They didn't know that though.
I guess.
The plan wasn't to take hostages, I don't think. I think he literally just, at the last second, because he called him trash,
No.
Right.
Yeah.
right? That was the thing.
That's what triggered him.
It's like Steve. How dare you?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you were playing trash.
Yeah, the more we talk about this, the more I think that Airheads was
Proper.
because they're idiots.
Yeah.
Proper idiots.
And I did like, as he pulls the gun on Milo, you do get Ian going, whoops.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie is, whoops, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, man. And then Michael Richards is the only one that sees what's happening and gets away to call the police.
Right.
And is Kramering the Kramer out of Kramer.
Yeah, he is.
Just,
He hits the freaking window
Yep.
when he comes in there.
yeah, he's doing the thing that he's in the movie for.
He has to find a reel-to-reel because when they're like, all right, we'll play the demo for you. It's only on 1/4 inch. And he's like, all we have is set up for CDs and cassettes. and the other demo is a cassette, but he brought the reel because
his voice
sounds like someone stepping on his nuts or something.
Yeah.
Cassette one,
on the cassette. Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Why don't you just have him press vinyl? I mean,
sure.
You're not even up with the times in terms of the technology in the booth, man. You're bringing a reel to reel.
And judging based on the last couple minutes of the movie, your voice doesn't have a ton of nuance that you need to worry about where it was recorded.
You're
it's
going to
all
be
kind of dog shit.
Auto-tune star is what you're going to be.
Exactly.
Pip and them come into Marcus. I guess he's the sound tech or whoever he is. It's this guy sitting in the back room playing with a guitar when they come in looking for the reel to reel. He's angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember Chris Rock?
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Chris
Rock from Jay and Silent Bob. He's playing that, but not as over the top.
He is basically playing Shaka Luther King.
Yeah.
From Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And Pip tries to relate to him, right? Adam Sandler comes up and he's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know that I'm down, man. Hendrix was God.
Do you hate
He's like, I just got done with a booger coffee. Don't try talking to me right now. I just drank the booger.
That's right. And he's like, nah, man. Remember when who was it? Public Enemy and whatever band?
Anthrax.
Thanks. He was like, that was awesome, man. He's like, you step back, man. You're standing on my dick.
Which is awesome.
Eventually, and all of this, I should say, is intercut with Michael Richards crawling through the air ducts.
John McClane, he is not.
No.
And considering that we're in the parking lot of Nakatomi Plaza,
right?
Everything that happens, and we'll just lump all these scenes together because there's lots of cutaways to them. Everything that happens is just an opportunity for Michael Richards to fall down, get hurt, whatever.
Do the physical reaction to something.
Yeah. Kramer the Kramer.
And you don't hear him clanking around while he's doing this.
Yeah.
Bro, one time, the fan blew him through
No noise.
one of the vents, no noise.
Nobody notices.
Himself on fire and was screaming at one point.
It's some of the funniest stuff in the movie, though.
No, it's brilliant.
It's good.
Every time he does something, I laughed because it's ridiculous. It made me think, though, because I know there are people that are more talented than I am at video editing. Somebody needs to go take these clips from Airheads and put them into Die Hard, because what I need is if Michael Richards was John McClane compilation.
Nice.
That's all I thought about was this, what kind of a different movie would Die Hard have been if it had been Michael Richards instead of Bruce Willis?
I think you write Michael Richards and see if he's willing to do some of the scenes.
Yeah, he's probably looking for some cash right now.
Yeah.
He would.
It's probably true.
He would do 5 or 6 bullet point scenes, the John McClane only tech stuff, get all freaking sweated up and everything.
Yeah. It would be funny to have
it'd be hilarious.
Just the audio track of "Come out to the coast, we'll have a few laughs."
That's right.
Cut to him just on fire in the vent.
You could have had him just bust in by Hans and he starts pouring a bowl of cereal. And
Funyuns, you got Funyuns?
It's a good thing Michael Richards didn't have a scene with Marcus. That would have gone really bad.
Right. Yeah. Right.
All right, let's move on. So they get the reel-to-reel set up in the booth, and they're like, all right, guys, what's your name? My name's Pip. He's like, oh, your band name. What's your band name? The Lone Rangers. The name of the band.
Dumb. That's dumb.
It's so dumb, but it's one of the best jokes to me in the entire movie.
It's like, how can you be the Lone Ranger? There's 1, 2, 3 of you. You're not exactly lone.
No. Shouldn't you be the 3 Rangers?
Yeah.
And they all just
stop and they're like, I don't see it.
I don't get it.
Yeah. It's not as cool.
Okay.
It's just not as cool.
No.
About 10 seconds into this demo, the reel-to-reel just eats it up, spits it out, lights it on fire in the ashtray.
It couldn't have been more wrong. Do you think that he did it on purpose? You think he booby trapped it?
Maybe.
Marcus did?
Because what does he blame it on Pip? He's like, Pip probably set it up wrong or whatever, right? But
no, I didn't. And that's when he does a little of the shoo-ba-doo that you're waiting for.
Put it out. Yeah. Andler. That's if you just smush it together. Adam
Go for
Sandler.
it.
That's what he's gonna have a symbol pretty soon. It's just gonna be Andler.
Yeah. Right.
Andler is at his best when just screaming. To me, that's when all the part where he's screaming is
Made a career of it.
the best.
Yeah.
He did. I don't know what in Anger Management. I know it's not a well-loved Adam Sandler movie, but
Yeah,
but by
I'm
a
with
group
you.
people,
I'm with you.
people, I enjoyed it. But anytime he would just start screaming, whether it was Happy Gilmore, right?
There's a girl I
Yeah.
want to meet.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch ball, why don't you go home?
Yeah.
You know?
Big Daddy when he's like, kangaroo song, kangaroo. All right.
All right. So it eats the tape, and their big idea after that is, what do we do now? Run. We're going to just run out of the building.
Run.
an
These
option.
guns, no big deal. We're just we're out of here.
Right.
right.
They're going to come looking for the Lone Rangers. Nobody's ever going to find them. We'll change our name to the Three Rangers. We are out of here.
They'll never suspect us
Chaz
because
is
we're
going to
not
get
alone.
his costume out that he goes into Palatine Records with. Nobody's going to know it's him.
He just should have walked out with his hat
He
on.
should have. That's all you have to do.
This guy's not
Acted like a
that's not
hostage.
him.
So where'd these 3 hostages come from?
Yeah.
There's the guys in there with guns. Get them.
We got to get out of here. Guys, I got it covered. I brought some hats and some glasses. We're good.
Probably
Just gonna
station
walk right
hats
out.
around here if we don't have enough.
Right.
Andler walks out the back door.
That's a thing now.
That's it. That's Andler.
All right, sorry. Pip walks out the back door, and there's one single cop out back there. And
Shadowing him.
he's like, maybe he's not here for me. He's thinking in his head. So he starts to go to the right, and the cop moves with him. And he takes another step, and the cop moves with him. And I remember saying to Dave, I was like, that's the guy from all the Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
No.
But at this point, there wasn't a Happy Madison
Right.
production, and there wasn't. So the fact that he's in this movie with Adam Sandler a year before Billy Madison came out, it was 1 year before he shot into the stratosphere as far as movie stars go. And but the fact that he was already in this movie with him, I thought was kind of cool. I don't remember what that guy's name is. He's the homeless guy in Happy Gilmore.
Right.
He's in all of his movies. He's on his tapes,
Right.
like the audio tapes that Sandler did, right?
No. They must have really
We don't
bonded
do
over
any
that.
Yeah.
research whatsoever.
No, that's just from listening to the tapes.
Yeah.
No.
In my life, like he wanted me to do it.
Screw you for judging me.
That's right.
He was the longest pee, right?
It might have been. They try to run out the front door. There's cops there. They're screaming like, "What are we gonna do?" Like, we just round up everybody. We'll put them all in the studio and we'll figure it out. This is where we find Yvonne, the front desk lady, hasn't even been discovered yet. She's playing freaking Game Gear.
Yeah. Game Gear going.
That was awesome to see one of those again.
Yes, it was fantastic. And the cops are trying to reach them on the phone to talk about demands. They don't want to talk to the cops yet, and they don't even know what they want. It takes Ian pulling Chaz aside to be like, "You wanted to play your tape, now you can't. So what's the only thing left to do?" Thinking he'd say, "Give up," but he says, "Find the other demo tape."
Right.
Yeah.
Duh.
It's weird how the hostages kind of hostage themselves in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, they're so stupid. Like, it's almost like the hostages have to keep themselves there and keep these guys motivated and in one direction.
So let's just talk about this now. Because, and I know what people are going to say, so I'll just say this right off the bat. It's a movie. Now that I've done that, can we get past it and discuss
Let's
how
get past that now.
stupid this plot point is?
Yeah.
One of these Uzis has a 5-second clip. There's 7 of them. There's just no way they should have been able to keep these people hostage. And they're constantly leaving the room and going other places by themselves.
Stuck with just one of them. So
Right.
1 on 7 versus.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So there's that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I could probably get all 7 with one. Yeah.
You spray
think
and
so?
pray.
Yeah. Sure.
Pray and pray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can just tell by the way that they're I forgot it.
No, but you can tell by the way they're holding the guns.
Oh, by the way, they were holding the guns that these guys don't have any idea
They
what
don't know
they're
what
doing
they're
with
doing.
a gun.
No.
This is another stupid little quibble, but the way Brendan Fraser was holding his gun pissed me off the entire movie because he kept his other hand on top of his Uzi the entire time. No matter what he was doing, he was like, all right, he's talking with it, and he's just holding on to the top of this thing.
Because if you don't put your finger over the hole on the top of the frickin' squirt gun, the water comes out.
That's what I'm saying.
That's probably what it was.
That's probably exactly what it was. So just from how they're carrying this thing.
Yeah.
You can
Or
tell
he's holding it like it's a rifle. Like he's got a little.
Right.
No, that's just
right.
a hand Uzi guy.
Well, I mean, you know what, too? It's filled with hot sauce. You're not going to smell the hot sauce
Yeah.
Right.
in there.
I
mean,
have
hot
never-
sauce is pretty strong.
Yeah, I have never held a squirt gun that didn't drip like crazy at all points of use. There's no airtight squirt gun
there's
in
no
the world.
way.
So I know.
And if this had happened 3 years later, he's calling his girlfriend on her cell phone, and they're not having to wait for 4
Right.
hours.
Yeah.
Because they call and they get the machine, and you just have to wait for the person to be home in order to reach them.
Answering
Remember
machines,
that?
remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just hosed if they're not at home.
That was weird.
That's still a thing.
It's not a thing for normal people.
It's a thing for you.
It's a thing for you. All right. Finally, Chaz comes out. He's like, because Sergeant O'Malley, a.k.a. Winston from the Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Ernie Hudson is out there with Chris Farley as Wilson. So they're the first two cops to show up, and they're setting up the perimeter, and Ernie Hudson calls them to say, hey, come on out, so we can at least talk to you. Instead of just doing it on the phone, like in every other hostage movie that's ever happened since the
it's
time
been done.
Hostage movies.
James,
have
it's been done. Let's switch it up.
Go
outside and talk to him.
We need to stretch here, guys. I felt like the director is just standing there going like this the whole time that this movie's going.
Because we have 40 minutes of movie.
Yeah,
we got to make it last 90.
This is the Saturday Night Live sketch that we've got to turn into an hour and a half.
Yep.
Yes.
So, all right, here we go, guys.
Like the Stretch Armstrong in the apartment that they shot
exactly.
There's two different montages in this movie because they had to cover time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yes, another thing about this film that drove me crazy was any of the scenes that happened outside where they left the building to interact with the police. Okay.
That's because they couldn't get time back inside the building.
Is that what it was? They come out, this first one, he comes out, and 14 cops get Chaz on the ground with his hands in the air.
You invited me out.
And Ernie Hudson has to run over and tell him, stop, hey, no, get up. No, you're cool. You're like, no, you just had him under arrest there.
Right.
Shoot him.
Shoot, cuff him right now. He's giving up.
Exactly. And there's 18 of you outside. Right. Why?
Right.
You got
People
the dude outside with no danger. Shoot him.
He's like, I've got my rhythm section in there keeping an eye on me. That was supposed to be the thing.
Exactly.
And it's Adam Sandler with his.
Oh, that's right. He does say that they're
Even
watching.
if you had arrested him, nobody gets killed because they don't have an actual gun.
Yeah. You don't get to point guns at the cops without them shooting you. That's kind of the rules, right? So
typically, if you refuse to not point your gun at the cops, they're going to shoot you.
yeah, if you just have it, they'll
In the door,
yeah.
they're going to shoot you.
Right. They'll shoot you and then shoot those people in there and whatever. And that I kind of got a impression that the cops were supposed to be stupid or like they were saying that cops are stupid. I don't know what their message was, but the cops were very inept, I guess, in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess everyone was an airhead. There it is. See, we're coming right.
They were
it all
getting
comes
it.
back around.
He's like, you got to find my girl, man. She's got the tape. That's what it comes down to.
But how?
It's like, I don't know, man. Try the strip somewhere. Maybe the
Smoking
whiskey.
hot blonde.
Yeah.
Wearing something skin tight.
Here's the picture of her ass. If
That I
help.
have
Yeah, like
in my pocket.
that
This picture.
from
Just in case.
Motor Magazine shoot she did.
It's literally her sticking her ass in front of the camera. Like you can't even barely see her face.
No.
No.
And you're like, here, just look for this girl.
It's a great picture, but I'm not sure it's good to pick someone out of a lineup or anything. It's pretty much butt and then face.
He goes, but as a gesture of goodwill, I need you to send out a hostage, right? So he goes back in the studio. He's like, all right, man, I made a deal with the cops, but we got to send somebody out. I'll go. And it's Adam Sandler.
No.
Like, no, a hostage.
You idiot.
Like, wait, it doesn't have to be a woman.
That's right. And it's
Yeah.
earlier.
That's sexist, isn't it?
Milo gets pissed.
Well,
Now it's definitely not going to be you, Milo. Earlier,
Yeah.
he as Adam Sandler was hanging out with Yvonne, this is why I think he picks her. He's like, why don't black people like me?
this might be it. What you're saying right now, this might be doing
I
it.
mean, you called the guy in the back G, and
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when you go to the store and they looking at you like you're stealing stuff?
She's like, that's never happened to
That's
me.
never happened to me. Like, oh,
He's like, oh, it's
oops.
was it Milo? Milo was the guy. It was before that they bring everybody into the conference room and forces them all onto the floor.
No.
And it's
No,
like,
that's after they let Yvonne go.
oh, that was after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
everybody gets a chair but you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if she gets to sit on a chair, then I get to sit on a chair. It's like, you know what? Now everybody gets a chair except for you. Sit on the
that's right.
floor.
Sit on the floor.
I think
On the
that
floor.
was fantastic.
You suck.
Yeah.
It's like,
He
you
does.
suck.
And
Everybody
he just
else
does
are
it.
cool.
Right.
He just sits.
And so as they're coming back in, Rex is like, Pip, you can't be so nice to the people. Like, if you're being too friendly with them, then what about the next time you got to tell them to get down on the ground and be like, what? Even me, Pip, I thought we had something going here, right? He's like, you got to be more scary, man. And practice with the gun. He's like, please get over on the wall, please.
Please move over the wall.
Over there. He's like, no, man, no, you got to do it like this. And Buscemi, of course, is great. He's like, I'm going to freaking murder all you assholes. And he's screaming and yelling. Michael Richards sees him through the vent and freaks out. And
Thinks it's happening.
They don't hear him going, vent over his head.
Above them.
He's like, get over there, please. He tries to go like, more scary. I'll stab your heads off. With my dick.
And you'll be bleeding from it.
You'll be bleeding from the dick stabs. And that works for Steve Buscemi. Like, I guess this dude's crazy. Like, I don't think you could even stab me with a dick. Well, generally in the face. I guess
you don't think
you
so?
could.
Well, you're not positive.
Well, you don't think he's gonna break the skin, though, is what you're saying,
right? Yeah. I think it's going to take a tremendous amount of force and
a lot of speed.
I think it might hurt you as much as it hurts me, Pip.
Listen, all we need, somebody do the equation of velocity times mass divided by
the story
surface area or something.
If there is a dick traveling at 78 miles per hour and a person's face standing on a railroad track driving in
somebody's nuts
electric remote control car traveling at 50 miles per hour. I was just bringing you into it.
You need to calm down.
He's trying to help you relate to it.
Yeah, I figured it would help you with the math problem.
That's right.
You would know that better than.
All right, Quado shows up.
Thank God for you. Thank God for you.
SWAT guy. Yeah. And it's literally the general from Starship Troopers that just got destroyed a couple weeks ago when we did that movie. And he's the SWAT guy, and Ernie Hudson's pissed off.
Showing up talking about his week.
His wife, right? Leaving him.
For a pool guy?
That's
for a pool guy. That's right.
Pip the pool
guy. That's the second time he talks to
He's like,
Kramer.
all right, Ernie Hudson, it's your show for now, but I'll keep an eye on things.
Yep.
And right then a call comes through, but he intercepts it before it can get to Ernie Hudson, and it's Michael Richards in the building.
How'd he get that phone?
Can we talk about this?
Go catch an arm.
Talk about doing the math. How he's up in this vent, like kind of where these vents are above us, and he's got the receiver stretched to the hilt off of the table.
Yep.
I wonder if he's
there's some banging going around up there.
You in there?
I know it's a movie, but that math doesn't math because either he got out of the vent, got the receiver, dialed the number, and then went feet first back into the vent because he can't turn around in there.
No.
I think he used his favorite mop.
Is that what it was?
He had a mop in there with him?
He dialed the numbers with, that's my mop.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because and then he drops it and has to go get another phone in another room.
Yeah.
Totally different room.
But he
later
can't
on
reach it.
No.
But how'd you reach the first phone that had a cord? This was a cordless one.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
How'd you do it? It doesn't
matter.
He falls out when he tries to get
movie
that
is
one.
movie.
Okay. Anyway, the guy wants the Quado outside with the SWAT team wants him to be his guy on the inside. And so he's like, well, I was in the Merchant Marines once. He's like, yeah, Marines, I'll copy that.
As an accountant.
No, you won't be held accountable. It's okay. Right?
Good work.
Not listening at all. And he's basically supposed to lay low and feed him intel. This is where we get the first mid-movie montage of them rocking out and playing all these CDs and finding all the free stuff. And the crowd outside's getting bigger because they're Rebel Radio and they're out on the airwaves and all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. You feel this like he's really looking to stick it to Milo too, the DJ.
Yeah.
He's
Ian.
like, let's go ahead and play this up for whatever it's worth. You know?
Yeah.
This is before they find out that Milo's actually got it in for him.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing by far in this montage is David Arquette playing Game Gear like a masturbating gorilla.
Yeah.
Through this.
Is it like a mirror?
I thought he was looking at his wiener through a magnifying glass. Because they don't show the... And then he's... what are you playing? I hope it's Donkey Kong or something.
Not
that doesn't
Game
make
Gear,
sense.
it's not.
Yeah, well, I guess. No, it can't be. I don't know what it would be. Now everything's wrecked.
Yeah.
David Arquette's in this movie, too.
That's true. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
And they went back to it twice.
Yeah.
Yep. He loves it. He loves being in a hostage situation. That's probably why he's...
My favorite
ugly humping
My favorite cameo in this whole movie, though, was by far when Beavis and Butthead called
Yeah.
to the radio station. Oh, I can't even do it. Are those the Lone Rangers?
Saw you at
You guys thought of
yeah.
You should make all the chicks get naked.
Did MTV do this movie?
They had MTV. Kurt
It
Loder
had to.
was in there.
Yeah.
They had to have something
Yeah.
to do with it.
They had to
right?
have tangentially, I'm sure.
They get Mike
Yeah.
Judge on the doing Beavis and Butthead on the freaking radio.
Yeah.
Hilarious, and they're ripping on these guys, calling them morons. And
No.
stuff. Oh, fantastic little moment. This is where they're all sitting around in the booth talking about how, I'm more into classic Rocky, and tells him, and he's like, oh, now you're going to tell me Purple Haze had something to say, like modern music sucks. But like they're going back and forth about all this.
Yeah.
And this is where Milo says, yeah, can't wait to hear your brilliant song. I'm sure it's going to have a lot to say. And he's like, the music you listen to, what the hell do you know? The guy's got a crate full of Kenny G CDs back in his freaking office.
Right. Because Ian said Milo doesn't even really listen to music.
No.
So
He
what do you
works at a
know?
radio. He
Right.
owns a radio station.
He doesn't listen to music.
And he doesn't listen to music. I read the trades, babe. That's all I know.
Yeah. It's a radio station. They play the radio all day long there at where you
Going
work.
throughout the whole building.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really listen to music. He hates it.
He hates it.
He's like, I give him out of stocking stuffers. He's like, it's the middle of July. What are you doing with Kenny G CDs?
Right.
And that's where they go back in there and find the crate and figure out that
all
that
that merch.
it's
Pair of shorts.
really crappy looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They- Yacht shorts.
Again, it feels like they're like, well, we need something to happen. So
Yeah, we
let's
gotta
do
fill some time.
Let's get they're changing the format of the station.
Yeah. They're going easy listening.
It's the rain.
Stretch it.
Yeah.
It was
the
just,
smooth sounds of the rain.
Right.
KPPX. Yeah. It's
here's
bad.
your rain shorts.
Meanwhile, Chris Farley goes looking for a quote, a blonde wearing something tight and black
Yeah.
on the strip at a rock club.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the White Zombie concert at the Rock Club.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be in something tight and black.
Right.
And I think that's where this movie might be into some licensing things because of White Zombie becoming pretty huge.
It very well could
Yeah.
be, because
Yep.
at the time when you're negotiating rights and contracts for these movies, you didn't have to work in anything for streaming deals because that wasn't a thing at the time.
Right.
No.
And so now, if you want to take it to a new medium, like Silent Bob was talking about
Right.
in Jane Silent Bob, you've got to get basically reacquire those rights.
Yeah.
And White Zombie's probably a lot bigger than they were.
Well, I
Oh, for
wonder
sure.
if they had any kind of blanket agreement with MTV initially, like if that's where they came into some
Yeah.
of those contacts.
Yeah.
And when they're doing it, it's like, yeah, we can use all this little music stuff, this, that, the other way, because we already have a deal with these people.
No.
Right. Who knows what the inner workings of it are now. But, originally in this scene, it was going to be Cannibal Corpse playing in this scene. But then at the last second, apparently there was some kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it a little tiff or whatever between the movie studios, because another studio came in and scooped him up to be in Ace Ventura same year. That's where Ace comes in and he's like, they're doing the headbang
Yeah.
joke,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because it was Jim Carrey's favorite band. And then so they had to switch up and use somebody else last second, and that's how it ended up being White Zombie. But it was supposed to be the same headbangers from the Ace Ventura movie, where the dude was charting whales in the back room or whatever.
No, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So who knows why they now can't use it, but it's yeah. He's in there, and this is where he dropped his Chris Farley-ism.
Yep.
He's like, somebody that's wearing something tight and black. Great, grand, wonderful.
Yeah.
And in a movie where a lot of people are just doing, like Kramer's doing his thing and
Yeah.
Sandler's doing his thing, Chris Farley wasn't really doing his thing that much.
No.
As much as he wasn't going full Farley in this one.
There's a couple moments. I don't think they either didn't understand how to use him, or they cast him because Sandler got him the job, or whatever it was. But they didn't change the part to fit him,
Right.
Like you would do now. You would
Yeah.
say, okay,
Right.
well, we got to rewrite this part because Chris Farley's in it. There's the time where he yells, "Holy shit," when they're all rushing the stage.
Yeah.
And then there's like his when they're setting up the police tape, and the guy's like, "I think you're exceeding the maximum weight limit for that belt." And he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm doing this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's about it, though.
They would have had him lose his noodle.
Not a
Both
lot.
of those things.
Yeah.
I think he should have lost his shit a little bit more,
Yeah.
like right after this, where the guy steps up to him to fight him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Right.
pulls his nipple ring out instead of because he pulled his badge off. Like,
Oh.
he would have been completely over the top with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Kayla doesn't. He finds Kayla at the bar, but Kayla doesn't want to go.
Right.
And so these dudes that I don't know, they got like one's got freaking like bone through his septum, and these dudes walk up. This guy's got a nose ring that attaches back to his ear, and nipple rings fully out, like no shirt.
Right.
And you can't get into a fight with your nipple rings exposed because the first thing somebody's going to do is rip those. For sure. And he gets up in Farley's face and
tears his badge off his uniform.
Yeah.
This is easy.
He's like, what are you going to do about it? I know. I felt I don't even have one. And I was like,
golly.
I was like, no. And if I'm somewhere where I might get in a fight, I'm wearing a damn shirt.
Put some Band-Aids over those things or something.
Right.
First thing you do when you're getting in your fight is you take off your hoops, man. You know,
Hold on. Take the bone out of your nose.
You got to pull your hoops.
We got to roll up on this cop. I got to get this thing out of my ear. The whole 9 yards. The one that it attached from his ear down to his wallet. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was crazy.
You'll never lose your wallet.
Not when it's attached to that.
And again, like, this is a cop, so you have a gun. Like, they're pushing him around in the club and everything. Like, you're not going to. Why don't the cops have any, like, authority or anything in this world that they've developed?
In this movie, they have no authority at all to do anything.
Right.
Just put one in the ceiling, man. Like, get everybody to move away from you.
Yeah. Right. Office Pop or whatever it is.
Desk Pop. Desk Pop.
Desk Pop the nightclub.
It's ridiculous, dude. Kayla is now driving home and she hears Chaz on the radio say we need the tape. And this tape, in various cutaways, has been ran over. The dude had his like low-ridered on it. Yep. It's kicked off to the side, pissed on by a dog.
Dog pissed on it, yeah.
I thought it was going to be where it slowly shows this tape end up at the door of the radio station. Like, it keeps getting kicked
that's
around.
what I thought, yeah.
I thought that's what they were setting up.
I thought it was going to go down the gutter and they're going to find a clown.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have been even better.
Georgie.
No, because early in the movie, as she's driving, she's pissed at him, so she threw the tape out the convertible.
Right.
Yeah.
But then when she hears this message, she pulls over right where she is when she hears it, and it's right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Bullshit.
Lucky.
How would you even remember where you tossed it out in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm right where I was going the other direction when I tossed this tape out.
Yeah.
She kind of did a Yui and power slide right into the spot where the tape was.
Let me Tokyo drift back to the spot where I
all of a sudden you see Ben Diesel coming down the other side of the street.
Was that Groot?
Here comes Brian with his floor panel scraping along.
I almost had you. But there's a dog pissing on the tape.
There's a dog pissing on the tape.
Yep.
And she picks it up, covered in piss.
It deserved it.
Dedication.
I'm thinking, too, if Carlos was hopping his car on it, that tape would have been smashed.
It was a little broken up. Yeah.
Cassettes don't
Just
last
a little
that
corner.
long.
Yeah, right. You dropped those and they were shattering.
Yeah, it wasn't an 8-track. That might have lasted.
That would have lasted for
not
sure.
a tape.
Nope.
They were flimsy.
Back at the radio station, they're putting together their list of ridiculous demands so that they can plead insanity later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like a football helmet full of cottage cheese, some different kinds of
Naked
guitars.
pictures of B. Arthur.
Pictures of B. Arthur.
I get it. I understand. That's
I love
not
the
crazy.
callback, too.
From the Golden Girls, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's not even the right Golden Girl to get naked pictures of.
No, you want Blanche.
100%. Rue McClanahan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ever since I saw her again in Starship Troopers, I've been thinking about her for weeks.
Those googly eyes.
Come on.
They get me every time.
Getting naked pictures of B. Arthur. I would be the third Golden Girl I'd want to get naked pictures of.
Right.
Okay? Estelle Getty's
After you've already went through
Well, maybe that's why.
I'm collecting the set.
I mean, it was supposed to be the most ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's got to be B. Arthur.
I guess.
Right.
I guess.
I mean, Betty White, it's like, no, these guys aren't serious.
No, Betty
Those would
White
be
is the
cute.
only one I don't want to see.
You don't want
No, she's
Betty?
like a family member.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
It's like America's grandma.
Yeah.
She'd send you naked pictures, but she'd be holding a teddy bear. And it would be like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
Go get the magnifying glass.
Please. Right after this, Sandler bangs the blonde girl on the couch in the other room. And they kind of talk about it throughout the movie. Like, how's he so good with women? He just acts like he's stupid and then
Gets
He gets
more
more
bumper
it gets more bumper than a body man.
body shop.
than a
That's
body
right.
shop.
Yeah. And
There's a lot of, just to cover this too. There's a lot of language and slang in this movie that I have never heard in my life. Like some of the things Brendan Fraser is saying.
You would say like gank somebody.
We used to say gank back in the day.
I never stealing something. I'm going to gank everybody in here. But that doesn't mean kill people. I mean, what, are you going to take them?
No.
I guess you already
but
did.
But it's California, so maybe it's different in California.
It could be slang from California. That's the only thing I can think of.
Earlier he said, like, you look like half a butt puppet.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anybody ever said.
Yeah, I'm not a whole butt puppet. I've never ever heard of someone being called a whole
1/32 of a butt puppet.
That's
right.
You're not, like I said, doing fractions on it. You're only half.
So it made me think like either they're trying to make new slang happen, which some movies were successful in doing, like Clueless and other ones, right?
Yep.
Or Wayne's World. People were saying schwing and stuff after that, right? But like
Tent pole.
Either, if she were the president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln. We reference that movie a lot. But so either they're trying to make new slang happen, or whoever wrote it's like, this sounds like something a young cool guy would say.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen, man.
Yeah, we don't get to talk about Mean Girls on this show enough. That's for sure.
They have Michael Richards go up to the roof to get a gun because Quado finds out that it was a pool service van that they showed up.
Yeah.
He wants him dead. So
from his epic story that he tells him about how his wife cheated with the pool boy, and whatever.
Right. You made the comment because the SWAT team meets him on the roof and hands him a gun. Why not just go inside?
Why aren't we breaching, everybody? Why aren't we going in? Clearly you just want to shoot him.
Because
so just shoot
they
him.
don't have command of the scene.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Because they don't have scene command. So they don't get to make the calls. But if we get this to the guy inside and he goes rogue,
yeah.
We got plausible deniability.
Even if the serial number on the gun is registered to the FBI.
Radio executive shows up at the front door. And it's the second Ghostbuster in this movie.
Yep.
Here's a Harold Ramis now. And so there's a moment where Harold and Ernie are on screen together here as they run past, when the cops show up. But it's like the guy, I can tell he was a cop before he even said a word.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Hello, fellow young people. I am a famous record executive.
I'm from Capitol Records.
That's right. And I'd love to sign you guys. Let's do a deal. He's like, first, we got to ask you some questions. Right? And the David Lee Roth, Van Halen's black. Whose side did you take, right?
Yeah.
Van Halen? Oh, get out of here.
He's a cop. Get him out of here.
He's a cop. Get him out of here.
Wait.
This is how you tell, though, right? What was the other question he asked?
Lemmy or God?
Lemmy or God.
Trick question. Lemmy is God.
Lemmy. Nope. God. Nope.
Trick question.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of. I recently on if you're not following us on X, follow Bad Movies Roll on X. I posted on there about Shannon Elizabeth because we just did Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, and I said reply to this X or to this post with a movie she was good in, and if there's a single reply to this, you're a cop. Is basically what I said. Okay, so there's all.
Or you're her mom.
Or you're her mother.
Yeah.
Okay, and everybody that tried to reply, I literally was like, you're a cop. You have to tell me if you're a police officer. Like, there's all kinds. And so I valued the way they found out that Harold Ramis is a police officer.
And I said that if Bill Murray shows up in this movie, it's a better movie than Frozen Empire was.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it had 3 Ghostbusters and Frozen Empire is dog shit.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about Frozen Empire. At this point, oh, geez. I want to not try to belabor this point, but at this point, they all run outside because they just chase this guy off. And Rex starts passing out tickets, and the whole crowd is swarming him. He's got a gun.
Right.
Yeah. Crowd don't care.
Pointing it at the cops on the top of a car. It's not even a hard shot.
No.
It's you can shoot him
and there's a sniper out
Nothing
there.
behind him.
Both guns are out there. But it's not like he's got one guy still in the building.
With
Both
the hostages.
guns are in the parking lot.
And the dumbass hostages are staying, and nobody's in there.
Right.
They're outside throwing tickets and merch.
Dude, and Brendan Fraser, look, this is an audio medium, but I got to act this one out, is literally running up to police officers and fans with his gun.
Yeah. Right.
Just like that, at his dick, just right up to people, and the cops are just like,
I don't know what to do.
And the crowd comes through the police line like Night of the Living Dead
nothing.
and just like starts grabbing tickets and slapping the Chaz's ass and everything. And
it's like, what is that? Like the police,
they suck.
They suck.
But maybe the chant that they do at this point is the reason that they suck.
All right, they're pissed the power gets turned off.
Yeah. They're pissed the power's off. So they start chanting Rodney King for some reason. I didn't get it.
Marcus didn't get it either. The one black guy is not going, what?
Well, that's that one guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Rodney King. Rodney King.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, hey, we don't want another one of these going on. Well, let's not hurt the white people.
Yeah.
So they turn the power back on. Kayla shows up with the tape, okay? And Quado stops her from running in just so he could blow Chaz out of the water because he got his file or whatever.
File from Iowa. So he's really Chester Ogilvy or whatever he is.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
He's a freaking nerd.
I used to play D&D
Had short hair.
Yeah.
And so he makes a confession in front of everybody, right? I was a geek in high school. I ate my own boogers.
One of us.
I had a bug collection, right? And he's going through this whole thing, and this guy's like, I played D&D too.
I wore corduroys.
Right.
And that's the thing everybody goes, aw, youth.
Right. The one guy's like, I used to masturbate a lot.
Every day. All day, every day.
Everybody did. Shut up.
I was a nerd about jerking it. That was me, man.
That's nerdy? I thought that was just part of growing up.
That has nothing to do with this, man. Why you shout that every time we go anywhere?
I know, and then his buddies started kicking his ass after he said it.
Yeah, started beating him up. You can't wreck socks. We need pairs.
All right, she brings the tape inside. They let her in, and she's like, "It's unplayable. It smells like freaking piss." Like,
Well, they fall in love again outside.
Yeah.
She starts smacking people around again. She's the worst.
Yeah.
You're gonna treat me like this after all I did for you? Like, you threw the tape out and it got pissed on, and you're acting indignant,
Right?
When you come in and aren't treated like a queen,
Right. This is what I mean. Like, he hates her. He loves her. She hates him. She loves him.
He throws
within
her out.
a minute.
I wrote this song for you. I wrote this song before I met you.
right? But earlier they were each saying the opposite of
Switched it.
that,
Right.
Right? And they
Stupid.
throws her out. And he's like, "Get out! I don't need your BS." While I've got all this other stuff
I've
going
got to
on.
think.
And so he goes into the booth. He's like, "I'm just go about your business" to everybody else. And a chair comes flying through the window from Kayla.
Jerry.
Smokes the board. Yeah. And now they're like, "We can't play your tape."
I didn't get how that board got smoked because
Glass
all it was
apparently conducts
glass
electricity.
and a chair falling on it. There was no liquid there, nothing to fry the board.
Well, yes, but also it shouldn't matter because what major radio station has one booth?
Right.
Right.
Let's just go to the other
KRI
booth.
Right.
rain short
PBX
people.
people. What do you mean there's no other booth to play this music on? You have one booth in this obviously huge, popular...
And one board.
And even
there's
if you had,
no
well, I was going to say, even if you had one board and one booth, there's another backup board somewhere.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I have 2 copies of my demo. One is on ancient technology,
Right.
and the other one is in my girlfriend's car.
Right. That's also
Stretch.
been now pissed on by a dog.
Right.
Well, again, the movie's over if she has a cell phone. It's just this whole thing.
No.
It only is
It's a
snapshot
product
in
of its
time.
time,
Does it
right.
work? All
Can
right.
you just FaceTime me while you listen to that on the tape in your car?
just like
Why didn't it occur to them to sing the ding dong song on
Hello.
the radio
They
station?
had instruments there.
Yeah, they had everything they needed to perform the song,
Yeah.
including the time on the radio.
They didn't write it.
But
damn
no,
it, Dave,
we
I didn't
need
even think
his
about
tape.
that.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just sing it?
That's another great question. All right, he's like, whatever, babe. I love you. Okay, is that what you want to hear? I'm too metal to say girly stuff like this, right? But it's like, whatever. I love you.
It was like
Flips his
watching a monkey fight, watching these two act against each other.
Yeah.
It was just it was ridiculous.
Yeah. The cops show up with all of their demands. They got the arcade games, the cottage cheese helmet,
This is a
giant-
great arcade game.
the giant, baby, bottle.
bottle.
It is a great game. I was like, that's what I would ask for.
Yep.
All this, as they're bringing it all in, they high five and break the water pistol. Right in
Yeah,
front
he
of
gets it
everybody.
snapped in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Marcus and David Arquette run out because they realize there's not a real gun.
Which is great. That's what you do.
Yeah. Milo tries to, but they spray him with the hot sauce.
got the hot sauce in his
at
face.
that moment, Michael Richards comes down with his submachine gun, just his arm coming out of the vent, and he's pressed up against the friggin' other part of it, right?
Hey, Jerry.
This is great. I got a gun, Jerry.
I got a gun.
Ian is the one that knocks the gun out of his hand because at this point he's changed over his allegiance.
Right.
Yeah, I think he was
Chaz.
pretty much with them all along, right?
Yeah,
I never
he
got
was
the
digging
sense
it.
from
He was
Ian
digging
that
her
he
back.
was like
Right.
scared at any point.
No.
But when this gun hits the ground, it fires the entire clip.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's how guns work.
The entire clip.
Don't say clip. It's a magazine.
Magazine.
You
Oh
could
my
don't-
gosh.
Jeez.
The internet. Sorry.
Oh, the internet will.
say it wrong.
I just heard the entire internet get out of their chair.
Say it wrong. It's okay. We'll get way more exposure from saying it wrong.
Yeah, it wrecked the whole clip.
All the gun contingent of
So now-
the BM Army is now pissed.
Everybody's still prisoner because now they have a real gun. Okay.
With no bullets in it.
Jimmy
No, they're empty now.
in the magazine.
In the magazine.
Jimmy Wing shows up. Now they got a real record executive there. He's there back from the beginning of the movie. They pull him in. I did like the callback when he walks past and he looks at the picture and he's like, B. Arthur. Outstanding.
Yeah, I like that. That was
I love ever since he was Bender and Breakfast. I mean, he's done lots of stuff, but I really always like Judd Nelson whenever he shows up in anything. They start negotiating a record deal, okay? And the board is fried. They can't play it, so they're trying to figure out how to get around it, and they come in with the record contract after they get done going through the particulars of it, because they get Milo to negotiate it.
Yeah.
Right? And he goes to sign it. He's like, we got a record deal. And Chaz is so pumped, right? And he's signing it on his girlfriend's back.
I wanted her to get stabbed. I wanted him to
Like
just
Running Man?
jam the pen into her back.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Punctuation.
Right.
And he's like, Pip, why are you holding that thing? Haven't they listened to the demo already? He's like, no, man, we haven't played. He's like, you give me a record deal and you haven't heard the song? No deal. And he throws the signed contract back to them.
Yeah, I was not getting this at all.
That's
I'm like,
deal.
That's deal.
That is deal.
well, you signed it.
Now you gave it to them.
Right.
Right. He's like, you know what I think of this contract? And he wipes his ass with it
And then gives it back again.
and gives it back
Still signed.
again. It's still a
Still
deal.
signed. He
Now
didn't
it's
rip
just
the sign page off.
now it's just a covered deal.
Yeah.
I had the smallest little skid mark in my underwear. Now there's a very big skid mark on the contract.
I did like Ian going, he wipes his ass with the record contract. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Finally.
Even more.
Yes, even more. Finally, Judd Nelson's character comes over and he's like, look, man, I can offer you a whole lot more. I got news for you. You're already a star. You can't buy this kind of media coverage. And just so you know, that ever since you signed that deal, you've been under the umbrella of Palatine Records. We have an army of attorneys looking out for all of our investments. Chaz, rock stars don't go to jail. Hell, Vince Neil got 30 days and he killed somebody.
That's great.
The best thing
Yeah.
that's delivered in this whole movie.
Is that real?
Are you serious? It's like,
For real?
Who cares if it's real? Those are great.
Yeah, he probably did.
right? And so he gets on the phone, Jimmy Wing, with the police. He's like, these crazy people have some more demands, right? And the next
We
shot
need a
is the most
stage.
ridiculous thing in this entire ridiculous movie. Is a helicopter flying in a already
Got a
built
Stage
stage.
getting airlifted in.
From where?
It looked like a bounce house that like they stopped at fun services and
Yes.
said, let's bring them to blow up stage so they can all have a nice jump.
Yes, that's exactly. It's all put together. The speakers are already on it.
Yeah.
Tarped
Everything's
up.
on it.
Yep.
Lights.
Everything. The drum
Yeah.
set
Ready to go.
set up.
Yep.
Where did you get this from? These
have
police
those ready.
officers, every demand they came up with, they're like, yes.
Yeah,
and
we're
they
gonna do
delivered
it.
it.
Yep.
And we're
Yep.
going to do it. And at no point did they ever put any kind of plan to stop what was happening
No.
in motion.
I need a
city-
stage. Oh, we're going to need a little bit more time on that. No. Oh, here's a
Yeah.
stage. We'll airlift it in. Actually, they got one at the Carrier Group down in San Diego. We'll have them helicopter it up
Happened
here.
here in 10 minutes.
Well, you being a mayor, you should know that every city has an emergency
We do.
stage.
That is very true. We do.
Is
could
that
be
why they
airlift.
dropped that little expo earlier about how the mayor was in Acapulco or something, or he was on vacation in
Yeah.
Tijuana? I don't remember where, but the mayor's out of town.
Right.
Yeah.
They made sure to drop that nugget
Yeah.
in there.
Just so you know.
Just so you know.
Just so you know.
They come out, they drop this stage on the roof, okay? And I just kept thinking where's the damn FBI? I think you had even made a comment like,
No.
I give you the FBI, like the
Right.
Die Hard line,
give
right?
you
At
the
what point when you're airlifting
Yeah.
stages and crap and guns are being shot out the front windows at the police and a crowd of people, Are we not getting the FBI?
Yeah,
on
where
the scene?
are the adults in this movie? Because there's none. It doesn't matter. Like, we want a head full of cottage cheese. At what point does somebody walk out, the FBI or whatever, and just go, all right. That is enough. Can we go in there and shoot them? I don't even care about the hostages anymore. Everybody dies. I don't care. It's enough of this nonsense over a record deal.
The song's not even that good.
The song is trash.
Oh, well, just saying.
Yeah.
They get the stage up there. They come all out on the roof. They come out the door, and the first people there aren't police officers, but like camera people and other dudes and stuff. And I'm
They're
like,
shooting the music video.
on the roof. And they're
Where
pissed.
there's no people.
And they're pissed that the amps aren't actually on. Oh, they're just props. We're going to sync it up in post, so you just got to This actually annoyed me because... All right, I'm sorry. I'm getting upset because this movie, while there had its funny moments, and I don't want to spoil things here, but pissed me off in so many other ways, okay? I have very complicated feelings about it. In this case, they wanted to paint Jimmy Wing as like this bad guy, this villain.
Yeah.
But this is literally how you make music videos.
Right.
And every band that you've ever watched and grew up and idolized that ever had a music video did this.
Right.
They play their instruments and lip sync the song so they can sync it up in post. And these guys are like, we're so hardcore, we're so metal, we're so rock. We can't sell out by lip syncing, man. Like this whole idea, and he flips it around his back and like, I'm such a rock god, I'm not gonna do it, and it's like gives Ian a boner, like the fact that he does like, oh, these guys can't be bought. I'm like, the whole reason they took over this radio station was to sell out and get a record deal and make money, and not just be like for the love of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it doesn't make any sense.
No. Well, things don't in this movie. But I don't understand how they know what song it is.
Also,
What he says, well, we'll sync it up in post. What are you talking about?
Where did you get my song?
Yeah, how do you know what you're even talking
The
about?
dog piss cassette
is it
doesn't
piss
work.
cassette?
There's no copy of this song. The song exists only out of Brendan Fraser's wig. That's it. There's no real music here at this point.
it's like Jason Mewes when he bad medicine plays out of his dick when he gets a hard on.
I wish I had that power.
I
It
know.
would be super
That'd be
great.
awesome. All right, they start smashing all the instruments and stuff, and then the crowd's going nuts. Even Ernie Hudson's like, "Let him through." The police, we don't even have real
We don't care.
authority
We
here.
never had control situation to begin
Rock
with.
and roll.
And
rock
then
roll.
it cuts to the Lone Rangers live in prison. They got enough time to sneak a gay sex joke in there,
Yeah.
and then the movie's over.
Right.
Yeah.
And in a movie where it felt like they were stretching everything, it felt like they ran out of tape. Like they were just
Yeah.
like, oh, guys, we're out of film here.
We hit 90.
And then-
We hit 90. We hit 90 minutes.
We
got 90
we did it.
minutes.
Some
They
roll
got a
the
hard
text.
stop
We
on
need
the
some
reel and it
text
came
on-
off.
They
Yeah,
got out
exactly.
after 3 months on good behavior, and we're touring and doing all this. The end.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Yep. There's
And
a
you
little
get-
blurb at the end.
Ian is like working the sound system and dancing like no one's ever danced to rock music before in their lives.
I can mash potatoes. I can mash potatoes.
And they're in prison, and the girlfriend and the office chick are behind.
Yeah, like go-go dancers back there.
You get to do that, apparently.
Yeah, because they let
And-
you to do that. Yeah.
Right. You should have seen her getting abducted over the railing in the second.
Right.
Right.
Getting
Yeah.
snuck in a cake. And in a movie where the whole thing has been about this one GD song.
Yes.
The song sucks such camel turds.
Degenerate. Degenerate.
Oh, it's so bad. And I don't even think they gave Brendan Fraser an actual singer to do his part.
No, that
I think
sounded
they
like
just
him.
said,
Just
yeah, do it.
do it.
You
It
do
sounded
You
I
know
don't
what?
care.
We're at 90 minutes. Just do it.
We are
We're
out
not-
of budget, guy. We spent all our money on cottage cheese and football helmets.
We spent
That's
it stretching
exactly
this
it.
thing out to an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Just sing it. Like Rob Zombie said, he's not coming back to sing this for you.
Right.
You got to do it.
Gotta do
Lemmy did his 2-second part. He's not singing. You got to do it, bro.
And just say degenerate over and over again.
Degenerate.
That's it? Okay. Okay. And credits.
Didn't even say it right. He was saying degenerate, which is like to disappear or something.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know, like right to.
It's the opposite of regenerate.
Yeah.
Degenerate. I'm going to
guess.
degenerate.
We're doing science. We're doing science.
All right, that's the end of the movie. The whole movie is a trope, so I don't even care that I accidentally hit that. the Airhead fans are pissed I'm dogging it, but man, the movie isn't without its charm. So we're going to give some awards out like we always do here. But before we do that, we have to recast this movie. We've got to pull. This movie had a ton of star power in it already. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if we could pull somebody and put in Arnold Schwarzenegger, we're going to improve the out of this movie. Okay.
We sure are.
Put him in as Milo.
You seem like you had an idea too.
Pull David Arquette.
Oh,
Imagine the scene where he's looking through the magnifying glass.
Yeah. Yes. Just that part.
Just that.
Yeah. He crushes the Game Gear. Just
snaps in half in his hands. Do it now.
He escapes and then he's trying to get back in.
I love that part.
Let me in.
He's like, you got to let me back in, man. He's like, no dice, man. You shouldn't have escaped if you wanted to.
He just rips the door off and comes back in.
Come on, man.
How are we
let me back in here. It's too cool out there in here. Out here's stupid. We just got Winston from the Ghostbusters.
He just busts the door off, throws them out, and stays inside.
Yeah.
What if he was Chris Farley's part?
Yeah.
Hey, man, it looks like you're exceeding the weight limit for that bell. You asshole. And he sternum punches him like a Terminator right through his chest.
Right through.
Yeah.
Reverse suitcases him. Right. Yeah. It'd be great.
How are we going to get the stage over here? Get to the chopper.
Bring the chopper.
Yeah.
You said Milo.
Put him as Milo.
But with a ponytail though, because half of Milo's
you can't
character is
have
getting
him in.
dragged
Oh,
around
that's
by
true.
his
Yeah.
ponytail.
Yeah.
Like
You can't
they
have
put him in a
Arnold, but-
roller chair. Seagal could play the crap out of that part.
Crap. Yeah, that's good.
Because he's in a roller chair already the whole movie.
Yeah.
And he's got a ponytail. You can drag him around.
And he's a tool that you care less about.
He's a tool.
Oh, Jimmy Wing. Put Arnold as Jimmy Wing.
We're actually changing to soft rock and
invented
reggae.
soft rock.
And we're gonna play my reggae album 24/7.
Give me the punani.
I've created an album that's made solely of my farts. It's amazing.
in jar soda goes.
It already hit #1 in Okinawa, Japan.
And every copy, you get one of my farts in a jar.
and a free membership to my dojo.
You already have a black belt just by showing
Gosh.
because you say you do.
Let's see what the patrons had to say here. And we're going to start off with Gabriel H. And he says, Doug Beach, the guy in the vents. Just the line, well, I could come in this weekend, but I've got an itch. And it could be hemorrhoids, but I'm not sure.
Got the hemorrhoids.
It's like, I don't need to know this. All right. All right.
He wouldn't fit in the vents. Arnold wouldn't fit in the vents, though.
Bigger vents.
You'd have to-
really big. Then he's on the phone and it's just his shoulders and his head sticking out of this thing. Who's in the Merchant Marines? Right. Rich D here with the first timer on the show doing awards.
Hey.
So I would replace SWAT leader Mace Marshall Bell with Arnold. Arnold dropping the story about his ex-wife with she wanted to leave me for somebody that had big pecs with big muscles, but they're the pool guy.
I had the smallest little skid mark in my underwear.
And then it ripped out his spine. Be good. Nice one, Rich D. Jose Salazar, really excited to be a part of it. I think this is also his first time out there. Let's get started.
All right.
Arnold could be just about anyone in this movie and kill it. However, I think he would shine as Chris Farley's character. Imagine him in that rock bar ripping the dude's entire right pec off instead of just the ring. Improvise, you weak, you puny man.
Little
Look at you with your weak pecs, and look at look at this of a fantastic body and muscular pecs. Look at them.
He goes to mosh pit him and he just stands still and the whole room moves around.
All right, we got Brian Sear playing along with us, and he says one of two roles Arnie can make better. Chris Farley after he rips the dude's nipple ring off. No hurt feelings. I'm just pulling your chain. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
there you go.
Yeah, nice. It's a classic Arnie one-liner. Or as Harold Ramis's part, although it would replace possibly the best line of the movie, who'd win a wrestling match between Lemmy and God? Arnie, neither. I'd pound both of the puny selves into submission. Be good. I like it. Eric Hopewell, another new... Guys, we had so many brand new people sign up for awards. I think we had 17 out of the whole month of like 28 spots that there are.
Yeah.
And all the cost of the episodes, like 17 of them were brand new people have never done it.
Sweet.
So, yeah. Arnold goes, initially I had him taking over David Arquette's role, but on second thought, I think Arnold replacing Marcus would be amazing. The dichotomy of Arnold playing a black guy would be too good to pass up. Well, when he's talking to Milo and he says, Going to tell me to shut up? You see, a brother can't open his mouth without the white man slapping him down. Wait, we talking about like a Robert Downey Jr. situation
I think that's
here?
what he's saying here.
I don't know if we could put Arnie in blackface and have him pull it off with quite the same panache. As much as I like to see him go, stand back, you're standing on my dick.
Yeah.
I don't think that we could.
I don't think that would work.
I think he'd say it anyway. It wouldn't matter.
Probably would.
Yeah. Arnold could say it. Yeah.
And then Matt Masick has been here before. He says, put him in Arquette's role as a stoner surfer dude. Have a stoned Arnie would be hysterical. He could have ended the entire situation in seconds, but he's just too stoned and hungry. Can we get some food, man? Come on. We need beer. Milk is for babies.
Give me the schnitzel.
That's right. Yeah, but I think it's obvious that Arnie drastically improves this movie. So we can officially declare the 201st example of Arnie making the movie better, and we have yet to find one where he couldn't. So I don't know, maybe next week, guys. But we're going to move on to some actual awards, and we have to find the person that is worthy of the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
What are you doing with a gun in space?
All right. I get just jacked every time I hear that compilation. Will Patton, first vote. Gabe H. says, Reggie Cathy, you could feel his anger and he sold every scene with intensity. I don't think anyone else could deliver the "can you take a step back, you're standing on my dick, man" line with the same intensity he had. So Reg played Marcus, and that is our first vote out the gate. Ryan Mueller, who you got?
Yeah, I like that pick. I came in, I wasn't sure who I was going to pick. It's kind of a tough one, I think, in this movie. But I think I'm actually going to go with Reg. Okay. I like that. I like that pick. I was thinking, is it Mr. Green? Is it, Ernie Hudson? But I like that pick.
The favorite line from him is when he says pie hole. What is that? Some kind of cracker slang?
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, it's the only slang in this movie that I accurately remembered.
I recognize that reference.
I understand that reference. Yeah, exactly. All right. So Rich D says, I was hard pressed not to pick one of the main trio, as they all give good performances, but work really well as a whole. However, I'm going to give it to Joe Montana as Ian. All his band introductions were dialed up to 11, as any good DJ should be. And when he went after Michael McKean, after learning the station was going, easy listening was great. And so we got a Joe Montana. And I was telling Dave earlier, every time I hear his name, I think of Waterboy. Do you remember when Waterboy tackled somebody?
Yep.
And Clint Howard was like, just like Joe Montana. Joe Montana was a quarter. I said Joe Montana.
That doesn't fix it.
It doesn't fix it. All right, Clint, who's your Will Patton?
I was originally going to say Joe Montana, but I think Reg is actually the better.
Really?
player.
Oh, all right. This one is not one I expected, but I like that's the way it's turning out. All right, sick. Let's head over here to Jose Salazar. And he says, I don't think there's any real other choice other than good old Doug Beach, Michael Richards. Brought the Cosmo Kramer mannerisms from the get-go, from the die-hard homage in the air vents to getting a peek at Pip, getting some action. He gave 110% in his role. I don't hate that pick either. Mike Richards, nice pick.
He came in and did what he was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Be Cosmo.
Brian Sear says, I'm going Rex, even though Reservoir Dogs is an all-time top 10. This was my introduction to Steve Buscemi. He's intense throughout the movie, but he wins solely for the pure vitriol on the line. Marky Mark, that guy sucks.
Hey, you're Rex. What's that like?
You were in Airheads. I saw that movie. Who you got for your Will Patton, man?
I am also going to go with Steve Buscemi as Rex. I thought that there's not a ton of great acting in this movie, so it was kind of rough. But I think of all of the main three, I think that he did the best job of at least convincing me that he gave a crap.
And he was a rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to get pants with a crotch cut out. Right. So that was what he wanted for his show, right?
So assless chaps.
Yeah. Right. Eric Hopewell says, Steve Buscemi. Now it's tied between him and Reg, 3-3. There was nobody more intense than Steve. A few of the roles had bursts of intensity, but Buscemi killed it as Rex and was consistently awesome. You can't call Rex Hollywood Boulevard trash and get away with it. Hopefully getting a little too intimate with his base while in prison didn't spur any Shawshank vibes for him during those 3 months. I did like how Pip was like, dude, stop, what are you doing? Stop.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, oh, crap. Look, I'm not going to break the tie, so hopefully Matt McCaig does, because I intended the whole time to go with Adam Sandler. Nothing to me is better in this movie than "with my dick," and every time he yells is hysterical. And that scene specifically, I thought was the peak of the movie. So I'm giving Adam Sandler my Will Patton nomination, which I realize is a throwaway, unless I have to break the tie in a second here. But maybe Matthew will do that for us. We'll see. Matt comes in and says, it was between Joe Montana and Brendan Fraser's Chaz. Ian says, you're not exactly alone. Shouldn't you be the Three Rangers? So ultimately, I'm going to plant on Rick O'Connell himself, Brendan Fraser. His monologue when they first pulled the guns in the booth had me sold that he really was Chaz and was just trying to get his song played on the radio. He's like, my life was on this tape, right? Basically what he said, and get signed, which means it's still 3-3, and I'm the only one that didn't vote for one of them. So I think they're both good picks, but I think Reg is going to be the guy that I vote for, because every line, and there was times where Buscemi was kind of almost like he was a little high and a little mellow, but yeah, he did have parts. I am ultimately going to go with Reg, and so Marcus is going to win the Will Patton Award for intensity, but well deserved. For Reg, his name is Reg E, and not Reggie, but Reg E. Kathy. Yeah. Good for him. Nice one. All right, guys, it's time for us to now decide who did the worst in the movie. Not was the character you hated the most, not who was the worst actor in their career, but in this 90 minutes and 30 seconds, who gave the worst performance in the movie? Let's get it.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
All right. Gabe kicking us off again, and he says, this was hard, but I gave it to Amy Locane. You can tell she was only hired for her looks and not for her talent. So that's right out the gate there for an Amy Locane. Who you got for me?
Yeah, this was tough too, because I didn't feel like anybody rose or sunk to any level that, they stood out. I think I'm going to go with my initial gut, and that's with Kayla. Amy Locane.
Locane, too.
Cocaine, not cocaine.
Was there a specific scene that pushed you over the edge? Because I'm thinking of one.
I think it's... you could pick one, but I think it's the last one where she threw the chair through, and they were... I hate you, I love you, I say it. And I'm like, nah, I'm not buying it. Yeah. I wasn't buying it all along, but I'm really not buying what you're selling now.
Fair. Yeah. Richie D comes in and says the obvious choice is Hulk Hogan for Santa with muscles.
That was a great one you came up with. They're still using
joke,
it.
Clint. Past this, I felt that it could have been played by an actual trash can. Was the other toy store employee that tried to tell Buscemi to restock things.
That's a good call.
His line delivery could not have been worse if Seagal himself gave it. Was, I'm going to tell old man Carruthers or whatever he said. He's just like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah, that dude was bad. That's a good call.
What you got for me, Clint?
I wanted to say Milo, but I looked back at it and was like, I just didn't like the douchey owner guy. I don't think that it was played wrong.
No, Michael McKean is good.
He did a good job.
Sure, not the teacher, sorry, the girlfriend, 100%. Kayla.
Amy Locane,
no, she not a good delivery and an unlikable character. So it was a double whammy of
Yeah, dude, there was a scene early on. I'm not picking her, but she was my second vote. But that scene where they're arguing in the apartment at the beginning.
Yeah.
I am the one that has a job and has to do things. It was like so rough, dude.
Right.
They made me alphabetized by alphabet.
Yeah. Imagine.
What?
I'm an actor acting, and I do acting.
Jose Salazar says, I think this has to go to David Arquette. I never really liked him as an actor, but in this role, he really provided nothing other than dude working at radio station. Yeah, he really served no purpose there at all. Every other hostage did something to move the plot forward except for him. He could have been replaced by a trash can, and the story would have been going just fine. Now, Jose, that may very well be true, but the award isn't for whose character did serve the least purpose. It's for the worst performance. So if you actually thought he was the worst, then that's fine. But I just want to, every time I come across that kind of reasoning,
that one's borderline.
I reiterate that what the award is for. There's plenty of useless characters, but who sucked in their acting? Yeah. But still, a vote for David Arquette. And then Brian Sear comes in and says, Arquette. Oh, nice. No reason. I just don't like him in this movie. All right. So possibly unqualified. We don't know their heart behind it, so we can't say for sure.
Right. I mean, that one's more so I just didn't like him in this movie. That's like, okay, that's.
But you know what? We have a lot of first timers doing it, so it's to be expected.
I was guilty of doing that till like episode 180.
Till like the recently. Yeah. So, but it's 3-2. So still Amy Locane is in the lead as we head over to David.
Well, I can't pick. Well, I mean, I'm going to pick, but it was between Brendan Fraser and his girlfriend, and I'm going with Brendan Fraser. Look, this movie he sucks in. Most movies he sucks in, but this movie he really sucks in, and he's the main ding-dong character. And I didn't give one solitary shit about anything he said in this whole movie. And you suck if your girlfriend sucks that hard and you still lose to her. So yeah, Brendan Fraser was god awful in this movie, and I can't let him get away with it. So
and don't let him. Don't be like those cops out in the parking lot.
They should have shot him. I wish this movie could have been about 10 minutes long. Shoot Brendan Fraser. Let's go home. Go watch The Mummy. It's a way better movie.
Eric steps in and says, Michael McKean as Milo. I hate to do this because I enjoy a lot of his roles and he's very talented. I love Spinal Tap and Best in Show, but I found him particularly bland as Milo, the D-bag station manager. I feel he could have added a lot more to the role considering it was a decent-sized role and he had enough screen time to be memorable. Alas, I found him boring. Maybe he thought he was preparing to relax to the soothing sounds of the rain. At least here he gives reason for performance reasons.
That is.
Which I respect. Yeah. So thank you for that. It's a vote for Michael McKean. David, I am also going Brendan Fraser.
My man.
And that's why I was like, she came in second. I was between the same two. And I know people are going to get upset because he's like this Keanu Reeves level beloved figure in Hollywood that like people love Brendan. I love Brendan Fraser. He's one of the best dudes. There's lots of movies that I like him in. This is not. We did Encino Man. I think I praised him the entire time we did Encino Man. Okay, but this movie is one of his worst performances, acting wise. I'm just saying, acting wise.
Yep.
I don't know if he just didn't connect with it, if he wasn't part of that lifestyle and didn't really get it, or what. But it just seemed kind of empty in almost everything that he did. And this is not a career award. I want to make that clear. And he's probably not even going to win. It's still 3-2.
To two.
Yeah. So we still got one more person to vote. But people will probably be upset that we even picked him. But come on, if you look at Airheads objectively, it's not a great performance from Brendan.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah. Okay. Let's now if this could get real interesting here. Matt Masick in the final spot has been coming up clutch here for us. Let's see. Trash can Amy Locane. She was awful in every scene. Nothing she did was believable. And that's, I think, Matt, the big problem. I didn't believe a word she said. Her character sucked too, so at least she was consistent with the suck, which I think is what we were saying, right? And now you said consistent with the suck. I do want to point out a line. I watched this movie twice and missed it both times, and you are the only one that caught it. When Michael McKean came in and said, we're going easy listening and that we're firing the entire staff, everyone kind of goes, oh, at the same time, you almost barely miss it. But the blonde that eventually hooks up with Sandler,
Susie with two Z's,
leans her face down and says, what?
I gave all those blowjobs for nothing.
Nothing.
I totally missed it too. I watched this twice.
Right? Isn't that crazy? It must be like totally under the radar. And which means she was blowing Milo, I guess.
Everybody there, I guess, because it was plural.
Right.
Jobs
with two Z's.
All right, but with all of that, that means that Amy Locane is going to win the trash can full of dirt. All right. The next award that we give out, and there was lots of small parts in this movie. Somebody that in a small role really made the most of their screen time and made the film better for the few minutes that they had. It's the Steve James Unsung Hero Award.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right? Yeah. Then there are those few who are. Are you some kind of a badass karate boy?
All right. So we've got Gabriel H. kicking us off again, and he says, as a Wisconsin boy, I couldn't give it to anyone but Chris Farley. Hey, fellow Wisconsin guy. What's up, dude? Yeah, Chris is from Madison. He killed every scene he was in, even if it was a small role. That being said, a big shout out to Reg E. Kathy. Rest in peace. Oh, I didn't realize Reg had passed away, who also killed it in every scene. So that's one vote for Chris Farley. And I anticipate him getting a lot of votes, although personally, it wasn't very Chris Farley.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. But go ahead, Ryan.
No, I wanted to give this to Chris Farley so bad, right? Just because I love him and everything he's in. But he wasn't Chris Farley in this movie. He was. It seemed like he was probably hamstrung by the writing and possibly the directing. Right? He had to play it a certain way. I think Reg is a good pick. My initial gut, I think I'm going to stay with it again. I'll go with Ernie Hudson.
Okay.
I liked him as
O'Malley.
As O'Malley, just giving in. Oh, you want a helmet of cottage cheese? Okay, we'll give you that.
No.
I just realized
giant
he's supposed to
baby
be
bottle?
Irish.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's Irish black dude.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I mean, I just loved his demeanor, and he's like the SWAT guy came on scene. He's like, this is my scene, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with O'Malley here.
All right. Sounds good to me, man. Yeah. We got Rich D coming in and says there was a plethora of good choices. Yes, but my favorite was Marcus, Reggie Cathy. He gets the first full laugh of the movie out of me when they gave him setting up the reel at gunpoint, and Sandler's trying to be cool with him, and he's not having it. Yeah, that was a good scene.
Yeah.
And Sandler, on his part too, he's like, hey, I'm down, man. Like, it's like, nah, dude, just walk away, bro.
Yeah. Hey, G. Hey, G.
Clint, who you got, man?
I want to give it to Chris Farley, but it's gonna have to be Cosmo Kramer. And
Michael Richards was great.
Yeah, he was 100%. He was Cosmo. He was Kramer, and every scene he was in, he did the thing.
I'm down to him and one other person. I haven't made up my mind yet, but he's great in that.
Lusciously sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Every time he got blasted with a fire extinguisher, I think we didn't talk about that. Right? It was just like
his arm with the gun, like super far out of the vent,
face smashed up against it. Yeah.
Yes.
Dude.
You need somebody to do physical stuff. That was who you should have hired. And he wasn't in enough movies, I don't think. He was mostly a TV guy.
Yep.
So, all right. Jose Salazar comes in and says, I think this has to go to David Arquette. I never really liked him as an actor, but in this role...
That's a seagull.
Oh, it was. Oh, my bad. Thank you. 2 words, Chris Farley. As soon as he stepped out of the cop car in this scene, I was already laughing. He killed it in a short amount of time, and he had just made the movie better. And so that's 2 votes now for Farley, and I think everybody else so far has
Everybody's got one.
But you look at the Chris Farley, and half the time you're laughing at Chris Farley because like, oh yeah, it's going to be Chris Farley, and then it doesn't deliver.
It wasn't.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If he's already laughing,
like, yeah.
If he's already laughing when he just shows up, that means you're more laughing at his reputation,
right?
And when your expectation than what actually happened.
You're thinking you're getting Matt Foley,
right,
coming in to talk to Christina Applegate and David Spade, and you get this cop that's playing it straight. Oh, it's
look like you'd be using those papers not for writing, but for rolling doobies. All right, but good vote. So let's see what Brian Sear has to say here. Reggie Cathy with his second vote. He walked so Shaka Luther King could run. He made the same connection.
He walked.
That's incredible. I love it. All right, so 2-2, Reggie Cathy and Chris Farley right now. Dave, who you got, man?
Same. Reg, I didn't think that he had a big enough part to give him the Will Patton, but he certainly had a big enough part to make this movie better, and every scene he was in, he rocked. So
love it.
Yep.
Oh, man. He's up in the lead right now. Might be getting a double dip here, Unsung and Will Patton. That would be crazy. But right here, we've got Eric Hopewell coming in with his Judd Nelson as Jimmy Wing. I felt in the limited screen time, he nailed his character and went all out to be the slime ball executive.
It's a good call.
I enjoyed the mannerisms while pretending to be a hostage at the end. I'm not sure why, but I thought the way he responded to Pip checking out B. Arthur and saying, outstanding, because he said the outstanding line like Bender in Breakfast Club, right? Yeah.
No.
Was just low-key hilarious.
I laughed at that. I thought it was funny.
Outstanding.
He was one of the only people doing a good job of acting in this movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's who I was going to pick this whole time. So I'm going to add a second vote here and tie things up 3 ways now at this point. Oh, no, because Reggie Cathy's got
still
3.
up by 3.
So
by 1.
2 for Farley, 2 for Jimmy Wing.
Yep.
Besides the with my dick, my other favorite part of this is his Vince Neil got 30 days and he killed somebody speech. That whole speech, he's like, rock stars don't go to jail. It's so good. So all right, 3-2. Again, Matt Masick coming in here, gonna maybe make things complicated, or he's gonna send it home. But he goes Michael Richards. Is that only the second vote for Michael?
No,
I think so.
I did Kramer, yeah.
Yeah, so second vote.
Or did another Patriot?
I don't think they did.
Okay.
There's a reason he made Seinfeld funny. He's crawling around the station through the vents, lighting his arm on fire. A little slapstick, but it was funny every time he was on screen. He also wants to introduce his own award for most punchable face in the movie as Milo Jackson.
Sure.
Yeah. I just want to deliver one right into his suck hole every movie this guy is in. So he's got a Michael McKean problem, not so much a Milo problem.
I have a Milo problem.
Yeah, I have a Milo problem for sure, but Michael McKean's awesome.
Then he did his job.
But that means that Reggie Caffey's going to double dip and take home the Will Patton and the Unsung Hero Award.
Right on.
Wow.
There should be a
good call.
Wall of Fame for that.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. Nicely done there, man. Rest in peace. I don't know how long ago he passed away, but yeah, he was great in this movie. Guys, it's time for us to render our final verdicts, okay? We have to first look at this objectively as an art critic would. It's an objective piece of art. Here's whether it's good or bad. And then subjectively, do we like it or not? And so it's hard to separate, but sometimes we got to go, all right, do I just like this even though it sucks? Let's try and parse that out, okay? And we'll start with Gabriel H. And he says, this is just a good movie. It was well written, well cast, and well shot. You can count it as one of those films who called out society of its time, and they weren't ready to listen. Thanks for letting me play. Love your podcast and feel honored every time I get to do awards. I do have to include this part, Gabriel, because we appreciate you, man. Thank you for being part of this. That's the first vote for good movies straight up.
Well, I mean,
he's over to Mueller.
1 of 3 there. So, I mean, in baseball, that's really good. Yeah. Got good cast. I mean,
it did.
Look, I guess I'm probably in the same boat as you. It's complicated, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think there's enough here to say good movie. I was kind of thinking, is this like the first time I watch this? Is this a good movie? Is it like borderline good? Went back and watched it again. I'm like, no, some of the acting's terrible. I have fun watching it. I needed more Chris Farley. They should have leaned into Chris Farley more. I mean, Chris Farley should have been probably in Ernie Hudson's roles, but for me personally, I needed more music. I loved when White Zombie was playing. Yeah. I loved when they were playing the music on the radio station. Why they didn't lean into Lemmy more and have some Motorhead on there, I don't know. Ultimately, though, I'm going to say this is a bad movie that rules. I still had fun watching it. Definitely not a good movie, but with the cast and some of the performances you got out of like the Buscemis and even Michael McKean, I don't think, I think that kind of saves it for me. Like I agree, Brendan Fraser, not his best performance by a long shot.
Okay.
But yeah, bad movie that rules.
All right.
If it's on, I'll watch it, but doesn't look like it's ever on anywhere, so who knows if I'll watch it again.
You might watch it in a pyramid or something somewhere.
It's down there with King Tut. They buried it with King Tut.
Rich D comes in and says, I had written this long, contrived paragraph about all the things that are wrong with this movie that made it flop in a vain attempt to mislead you into thinking this was a bad movie. But screw that nonsense. This movie rocks. Amazing cast to the awesome music. This is a good movie, full stop. It's a shame the studio marketed it so poorly. It deserved much better. Damn the man, save the empire. Oh, wrong movie, but I'm sure it still works here. So another 2 patrons in a row. Good movie. Clint?
I think it's, objectively, I think it's a bad movie. Not by a long way. I think, though, you take this story and you put it down on the table in front of us and we're looking at it as like, okay, here's a story. We got a lot of work to do before we come up from this original idea to what we actually would try to finalize. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying we're good at this.
No.
So I just don't think that we would have looked at this the way it is and said like, yep, that's done. Let's go ahead and shoot it. We wouldn't have even started shooting it yet with this story.
No.
So I think that, yes, it's not a good movie. I think the concept is good. It could be fantastic. The cast certainly is, and that brings a lot of fun for me. I liked this movie a lot. This is going to be a bad movie. That rules.
Awesome. I'll wait till my part, but I really like what you said there, for sure. Jose Salazar said... This movie has it all. You had pre-Mummy Brendan Fraser, pre-90s comedy royalty and Adam Sandler and Chris Farley, pre-Con Air Steve Buscemi, Michael Richards just as Seinfeld was in its prime, and pre-WCW heavyweight champion David Arquette. Wow, that's deep cut. This is a good movie, full stop. Wrestling's not fair! It was hard to find a way to watch it. Yeah, it was. But it used to get heavy play on Comedy Central in the 2000s. If it was on TV, I would stop what I was doing and watch it. Thanks again for the opportunity. Taco Joe. Appreciate you, man. Look, that's 3 patrons in a row that have gone solidly good/great movie.
We're not mad at them.
No, not at all.
No.
Like what you like, man.
Yeah.
Brian Sear comes in and says, this is a good movie. I grew up in LA and had moved to Northern California right before the release. It actually captures the dying hair metal scene of the time, and I will always watch it when it comes on. Michael McKean and Judd Nelson play such great, smarmy music industry execs, and it was great to see Reagan Youth's, oh, that's right, their song got covered as the Lone Ranger's main hit. So this was another band's song. I had read that, that they used.
Okay.
He goes, I'm a licensed paramedic with over 30 years of fire and emergency. So if you guys ever shoot another movie and need a site medic, happy to do it pro bono for a few days. There we go. Appreciate you, man. He's never been to the Badger State. You got to get out to Wisconsin, bro.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man.
What you doing?
What are you doing? Dave, how do you feel about Airheads?
All right. Well, I'm going to wet blanket the hell out of this because good gravy. Look, okay, here's the thing. This movie had potential like my grandma used to talk about me having potential. Like there's so much to work with here. You have so many amazing people in this movie, and it doesn't do anything with it. It's just boring. I didn't care about any of it. Most of the actors were trash. The story was contrived and stupid. In a movie about music, there was no freaking music in it. And then when the music shows up, it's poop. How do you even get away with this? Now, that being said, it's kind of a thing of its time, and I understand that, like, with all the people that were in it, there's a pedigree there that we're expecting when we watch this, knowing those people and what they turned into.
Right.
But still, this movie in and of itself was kind of garbage. So I'm going to go bad movie, objectively.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
I love it. I know. Plant that flag, David.
I'm sorry.
Plant that flag, man. I love that stuff.
I wanted to laugh. I was watching it going, this should be so much funnier than this is. There's too much in here.
The problem, some of this could be you were already 2 days pissed off trying to find this.
No.
You are 6.5 hours deep of work before you got to see the opening credits.
It better be great.
But you prepare for a date, you get ready, and then when you're on the date and she smells bad, that's what this movie was.
All right. I respect it. All right. Finally, here we go. Well, not finally, we got one more, but Eric Hopewell says, I grew up with this movie and it's never left my rotation. I watch it a few times every year. I always laugh at this flick, and it's a travesty it has a 29 on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie helped shape my love of playing music when I was 13. 8 out of 10. This movie is a good movie that rules, full stop. Thanks for allowing me to do my first awards. Hope I don't let you guys down. My flag was planted enough. I enjoy the podcast immensely since I found it in October. Hey, man, thank you guys. I appreciate you. And P.S. Bob rules. Eric Hopewell, thanks, man.
He just found it in October. He hasn't watched enough crap yet.
He'll become jaded
around.
like
He'll
us,
come
I
around.
suppose.
Please,
Yeah, right.
please check out our
Please.
our episode on Slapstick of Another Kind. Watch the movie first, then listen to the episode.
No.
I really like what Clint said because it really encapsulates how I feel about it. When I look at this movie, and kind of what David said too, it's really not as good as this movie I'm about to say, but it's half baked, right?
Oh, I love that movie.
But as a concept, it's just not done yet, right?
Right.
You kind of have the beginning of something. Hey, what if these guys took over a radio station, and then it's like they filmed a first draft,
right,
instead of the 10th rewrite of something, and you just get I don't know, man. So there's that, and then with the cast that you have, you really needed to have more, and so I think they elevate it to a certain extent. But man, you've got so many people. Like, it's got David Arquette. They barely use him. Yeah, it's got Chris Farley. They barely use him. Yeah, it's got, who's used to their full potential in this? Not Brendan Fraser. No. Not Steve Buscemi even, I don't think, in this movie. It's not Michael Richards.
Kramer got used exactly as you would use Kramer for.
Yeah, and Judd Nelson. And Reggie Cathy obviously did a great job. But like Sandler, was good in parts, but again, he's not. They didn't like take the reins off him, and that's kind of what it felt like with Farley. Like he had the reins put on him. Like he didn't either feel comfortable enough to improvise or do his thing, or he was told not to, or I don't know. The whole thing feels half done. It feels like a cake Seagal put in the microwave and pressed it for 15 minutes
and the rest up to God.
But never hit start.
But never hit start on it. So it's a bad movie. The part I can't decide on is if I think it rules or not, because there are some things I genuinely, I know, I am so on the fence though. I think if it does rule, it's like, remember that pole vaulter that caught the bar with his dick in the Olympics this summer? It's like
legend.
If it did make it over the rules bar, it's by its dick.
Perfect.
Seriously.
And I need someone to make this. I need that pole vaulter with a BMR or the Airheads logo on it going over that bar, and then have
Airheads knocking
the
it down.
BMR logo on his little wiener hitting that thing, and then him going over the edge.
The only
and
thing
then
I can
saying,
think
"Bad
of now
movie
that
rules."
he's saying that is, I just think about Chris Collinsworth narrating that. Now here's a guy that gets his dick stepped on.
That's right. All right, so let's see what Matt Masick had to say here. John Cusack was originally the choice to play Chaz, but I don't think he could have done as well as Fraser. My first exposure to this movie was actually in 2009 when I was in Afghanistan. Thank you for your service, sir. A buddy gave his external hard drive to me, and I copied all his movies that I didn't have. I saw Airheads, didn't know what it was, and put it on. I enjoyed watching it and watch it at least once a year. The movie obviously has some flaws, but I really enjoy it. So I'm going to say it's a bad movie, but rules so hard. So Matt Masick as the only patron to say BMR, good across the board. Whereas we got 3 BMRs at the table and 1 straight up bad. I was close to yours. But that's
it got over by a wiener.
So I think
a little bit of extra tuckage there got it over.
It's amazing how different. And is it just because we've watched so many of these? I don't know what
we have so many points of comparison now of crap we've seen.
I'm definitely not trying to insinuate that we're right and they're wrong.
No,
I just think we're coming at it from 2 totally different places.
Right.
Is all it is. Because again, it's subjective.
If you've only watched hits.
Yeah.
If you've only watched blockbusters. If you've only just started watching movies that you like, then you're going to think differently about this.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what? That's okay. It's all good because
like what you like.
Like what you like. And we're going to like what we like. And we're going to move on to next week because we've got another movie coming down the pipe here. We got a full Dudikoff pick back on the table again.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah, but it's Willow.
That is great.
It is great.
Never heard of it.
You never seen it?
I've heard of it. I take that back. I've never seen
it. It's Ron Howard directed fantasy film, predates it doesn't predate Lord of the Rings, the book, but the movie. Right? Yeah. Definitely seems to have been heavily influenced by it. But you've got Val Kilmer in it, Warwick Davis, a bunch of other really his wife at the time is the redhead. I can't remember what her name is that Val Kilmer falls in love with in the movie. It's just we get the guy from what's his name? Roach.
Pat Roach.
Pat Roach. I always call him Paul. Pat Roach is back again as the general with the skull.
It's the dopest helmet that's ever been worn on screen.
Yes. It's so stinking cool, and I'm very excited. I actually haven't watched Willow in at least 10 or 15 years.
Well, it's been longer than that for me.
You're all pigs.
Yeah.
It's so good. Anyway, join us next week for Willow. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Ryan, for being here, man.
You're welcome.
Thanks for rocking out with us, Clint.
No worries.
Dave, thank you for suffering for your art.
No, it was great. It's always a good time, even if the movie's trash.
We'll catch you guys all on the next one. Degenerate.
This ending music is better than any of the music in this piece of crap.
I'd start grinding with my microphone, but Clint would just start staring at me, and
you get weird stares.
He's already doing the eyebrows.
Jeez, that's disconcerting. I need an adult.
You've tuned into the smooth sounds of the rain.
Yeah, we're all wearing our rain shorts. Rain shorts aren't wet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Rainmaker. Tiny.
Guys,
just a little one.
You realize this? We're the 4 Rangers.
That's right.
Oh,